Wait, what? What's happening?
We're starting.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This week on Humpcast, Silvia, Lara, and Roland Leonard join me in studio to have a little Halloween party. We tell ghost stories, we have some spooky shit, and we just have a good time. You're listening to Humpcast. I hit that button because I didn't hit this button. And I needed a label. I probably should label these better, but what's up, everybody? Welcome to Humpcast, the show where a couple of buds get buzzed and get your panties out of a bunch while we sip on some Halloween punch. My name's Garrett Lee, and today we have very special guests on our Halloween episode. We have cinematographer Silvia, Lara, and guitarist of Zombie Eats Horse, Roland Leonard.
Eating eats either way.
What is it? I think it was right. Zombie eating horse? He's the horse? The zombie eats the horse is the point of the story. And today...
Or is it the horse eating the zombie? Maybe it's a zombie eating horse?
I was going to know. It's horse eating zombies.
Yeah.
That's going to be my band. I'll start that band.
Well, that's the whole thing behind it. Is it a zombie eating a horse, or is it a zombie eating horse?
Oh, yeah. I can see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't know. That's part of the mystery.
A delicate conundrum.
You can find that out after you listen to our Halloween episode. I'm just going to keep this in the background and hopefully not get pulled this time. Last week we did.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think I kept playing it above everyone for a little while just to shut them up. But I'm going to keep this in the background. This is our Halloween
Still
episode.
bubbling.
Oh, yours? Yeah.
Oh, shit. It's getting all like...
Froze, you got to
Frozen.
drink it. That's why.
Drink fast.
Drink. All right, so cheers, everybody.
Yeah, let's do
Cheers.
Woo!
a little taste test.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Are these
Cheers.
plastic?
No, these are glass.
Ooh.
Fuck
It's
yeah.
tasty.
All right, so like every episode,
you,
we
sir.
start off with an alcoholic beverage of some sort. This day
There
is
we
no
go.
different. I think I just needed to melt it. You can't.
Yeah.
You have to drink. This is gonna force you to drink.
Happy?
Drink.
Yes. So
Say copy.
today, in the spirit of Halloween, if you're watching live, you can see that we are sipping on some smoky beverages. Actually, this is a Halloween punch of my own concoction.
Do you have a name
go.
for this one?
No, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that part. But I put it in these really cool glasses with some dry ice, and I think it suits the theme pretty well.
Garrett's Witch's Brew.
Garrett's Witch's Brew is a
dig
good
it.
one.
Yeah, it looks like witch's brew.
It does.
Yeah.
It's bubbling,
Yeah.
toiling, troubling.
This is the first time I just recreationally use dry ice too.
That's dope.
I've done these on like shows, but I like it.
I dig
I
it.
do lots of things recreationally.
I'm gonna turn this down. I feel like it is gonna get me turned. Fucking shit. They mute it. They mute it and then they pull it.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh, and then the dry ice actually gives it like an effervescence too. That's pretty cool.
I dig it.
Nice.
It's
All right.
so
So
bubbly.
on this Halloween episode, we've done cool things. We dressed up a little bit. I feel like I'm underdressed though because you guys came in hot with these cool face paintings. So
You're pretty
you did
hot
both of
yourself.
these? Thank you.
He did his. We did our own each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
He
You guys are both
provided
good
the
at this.
makeup. I
Yeah.
wish.
Nice.
I don't have makeup.
And then you have your cool like jewelry on your face too.
Yeah, it's actually it looks a lot more intricate than it is. It's literally like just stickers, but
Mhm.
it makes it look like I only did half a face and just stuck stickers on the rest. But everybody's like, "Oh my goodness!" It's like, no, it's just.
I think it's the thin lines that make it like stand out.
Oh, I
the
see.
little
Yeah, the detail
design.
definitely does it, dude. Like
crack.
I noticed. Like at first, when you start, it just looks really cartoonish, and
Yeah.
then you start getting in shading and like crack details, and it just
I
looks
like
better.
toidles.
He does
Yeah.
like. I like that you did you go for that when you were putting it on?
No, I was just like, I'm gonna say I went for that.
Nice. And I'm just Clark Kent mid transformation right here because I didn't get a chance to actually go shopping. But
Yeah.
one of the coolest things, if you notice in the background, we have our good friend Hump Castro, and
there you
he's
go.
dressed up. Some would say he's a Death Eater from Harry Potter, but that's not true. He's actually told me his costume, and he is a Muerte Eater from Humberto Potrero. It's a Hispanic version. Hispanic version of Harry Potter, and he's back there chilling. You can see him right there. Umberto Potrero.
Is Umberto the Spanish version of Harry?
No, I don't know what the Spanish version
I have
is.
no idea. Gerardo.
Gerardo.
No, I don't know.
Is
That's
it?
Gerard.
That's Gerard.
I don't
Gerardo
know.
Potardo.
And then Potter, I don't think there is one for that, so I just put Potrero. Potrero. Because it's harder with the H sounds because there's so like you get the G and the H and the J. That all can be
Harry.
Harry's.
Harry Potter.
If you guys know what the hell Harry is in Spanish, let me know. We'll pull that up. All right, you guys. So you are returning guests. Thank you for coming back. Of course, you guys had fun last time.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
Nice.
Yeah, I only remember up until like the first 45 minutes. After that, you know.
I get that.
That's my real personality.
I get that a lot.
That's why we couldn't air that episode.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I figured.
We rescheduled for today.
You should see. There are some funny ones out there where people are just like, "Oh my god, I did what on the show?" But that's like the whole thing. I mean, if you do what you want to do, I guess, right? We have some cool shit lined up for you today. We did want to get into like some cool spooky stories, talk about some haunted stuff and other things like that. Did you guys do anything fun? Because Halloween lands on Wednesday, so really no one's doing much tomorrow, or if you're doing the audio version, today.
Yeah.
But did you do anything over the weekend? Anything fun?
We hit up bars, and my brother's birthday is over the weekend as well. So
cool.
we
Happy
always
birthday.
have like family stuff and whatnot.
Just kind of rolled with the punches.
Not subtle at all.
You guys get it. You get it. You get it. Also, we're drinking punch. We'd roll with the punch with the witch's brew.
Yeah, and I had just like a shit ton of events because for some reason Halloween ends up being a thing where like everybody it's just like a Halloween mixer for the industry and this and that and for like whatnot, so yeah.
Exactly. And then I had a cool thing drop. It was a Halloween special for Malvolia. If you follow anything that I do, I'm like a regular on this horror comedy sort of like internet web series. Yeah, that's what I guess I could call it.
Dope.
And we did a Halloween special that was just amazing.
That's great.
It was really cool. I didn't get a chance to show you guys because we got a little sidetracked in the beginning, but yeah, I did my first fight scene in there, and there was a lot of really cool effects, Bichronic effects.
Can you play it on here? Like, can we watch it with like the?
Could watch it a little bit, but it would like just take up like everyone would just be watching us look at the screen.
I see.
Oh, okay. You can.
You would hear punches maybe. Just cool. But yeah, no, we could watch it after. And if you guys want to watch and you're listening or watching right now, head to either YouTube or the Malvolia Queen of Screams Facebook page, and you can check out the Halloween special featuring yours truly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sound effects.
Dope.
I like that. I didn't put up any Halloween sound effects though.
effects.
Oh wait, I do have this one though. It's
the French.
that's our good friend Orson Welles.
The
who likes
Wilhelm
this.
scream.
Yeah, that one.
I'm pretty sure the Wilhelm scream was in Ghostbusters. Like 99% sure it was in there.
I'm pretty sure it was in 99% of like the
every
80s
movie.
movies.
All 80s movies.
Dude, I always hear it in like the Star Wars movies. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
Almost
Oh, yeah,
every,
and then, like,
even the
70s.
new ones.
Yeah, that's always fucking
Yeah.
hilarious. All right, cool.
It's classic.
I think by now it's just like a tradition. Like, all right, where can we stick it? Stop.
You get it? You get it?
Moving on.
Moving on. So, you guys came in last time more as your professions, I guess. You were the cinematographer and you were talking about music. Now you come in, you do have some cool stories, I heard, correct? Maybe some Halloween-y type stories?
no.
Today she's Lady Lara, mistress of the screen.
I had no idea we were doing that actually. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Lady Lara.
I mean,
That's fine. Just chill out.
I wouldn't say
drink
they're
more.
necessarily like. I guess you would categorize them as that. I just think that it's just really interesting. Some of them have to do with things that are like, all right, can you explain this logically? And others are like, no, you really can't.
You can't.
So I don't know. It will be up to you.
All right. I want to. Well, how about I'm gonna switch the music to something a little bit more ominous, and then we'll tell some stories. Does that sound cool for you guys?
Groovy.
Yeah.
Groovy. Ominous. I'm literally doing ominous horror music. Boom. I love YouTube. You can just type in anything. It's like, yeah, there you go. That'll work.
There you go.
3 hours of scary, ominous, creepy shit.
Good enough.
After this
You
ad.
use that. Someone says I love you, and say I love you too.
Oh my god.
And it's like you're not saying it back. But
I love YouTube.
yeah, I love you. I love you too.
Do you guys remember it?
Did you say YouTube? No.
What?
I said YouTube.
Drink more.
Boy.
You guys remember in like middle school where they would like whisper stuff to you? They're like, olive oil.
Oh my god, I remember olive oil
yeah.
from across the
From across the room.
Olive juice.
Oh,
Olive juice. Olive juice.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
My
I love
favorite
juice too.
one. My favorite one. I had a crush on this like little boy when I was like in 7th grade.
I thought you were like right
It's
now.
like-
You're like this little boy. He's like
This
super
like
cute.
little piece of shit kid
Mhm.
because he knew how much I had a crush on him. And I remember he once went and told me, he's like, hey, I got my name written on no, I got your name written on
my
me.
butt.
I was like, I got your name written on me. I was just like, what? And he's like, shows me, he goes, your name. I was like, fuck you.
That's funny. That was in 7th grade?
That was like 7th grade.
Okay, then I'm 99% sure that was because Steve-O had it. Do you remember? You know that?
Probably.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
use that one.
Probably.
No, yeah, because he has that thing. He's like, I have your name tattooed on my ass.
Yeah,
And
it's
he
like
put-
your
name.
It just says your name, but it's tattooed on his ass.
Yeah.
Your name here.
Nice. Dude, as a kid, like my friends and I were all about like all the jackass people basically, and so like we looked up to them. I'm sure a ton of kids like our age did too.
Yeah, we've done some dumb shit, man.
Yeah.
Caught on tape.
Yeah, us too.
I mean, honestly, like we had, my dad had a little like camcorder that I got my hands on, which is one of the first things that I really started shooting on. And
Nice.
the first thing we did was just jackass shit because it's like there's no script. It's just like us doing stupid stuff, and can we record it? Yeah. And for some reason in 7th grade, I had a class where the professor gave us extra credit for like extracurricular activities that had to do with story. So like if I could shoot something that was kind of story based, I could show it in class and then like pass.
Yeah.
So basically, she was allowing me to pass by like shooting jackass videos.
Oh, that's awesome.
Technically, I mean, she didn't realize she was allowing that, but once like we put in the effort and did that, and they
Yeah,
were, like,
I mean, you weren't just like shooting. Hey, look
Yeah.
at this stupid shit. You were like
Yeah.
actually doing cool work.
yeah, and then like
And the
and then she
content was
just
that.
gave us like extra credit, so it was fun.
That's badass. Someone asked if you were wearing a bandana. I'd be like, no, it's just that good, Steven. It's just that good. You know your face paint.
That's just her inner chola. It just looks like a bandana.
It does. No, like literally because
does.
Starts manifesting.
in the screen, it looks like it could be, I don't
feel
know,
like we'll do
like a
this
sticker.
and just like
ruin it.
Yeah.
No, don't do it.
this is ruining my lips anyway, so
It's all good. It works out.
yeah.
I don't think you could tell from this
For yours?
far away. Yeah, I did.
Well, also it's like this webcam is mostly supposed to have like one center sort of thing, so it focuses here. But like for whatever reason, yeah, if you move in, and you'll get more in focus.
There you go. Oh, I see. Yeah.
No.
I like this ominous music in the background.
I dig it.
You should
Like-
just always have it.
Well, the one that I clicked on is 3 hours of scary, ominous, and creepy horror.
I want to make
music.
something like this so bad.
Just ominous, dark,
Yeah,
ominous
dude.
tones.
Yeah.
Shout out one of my favorite films, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Love it. Just
Oh,
make,
yeah, dude.
just dark, ominous tones. Bong, bong.
Dracula. No, Van Helsing.
That was one of the first.
I was
movies, dude.
slaying.
Yeah.
That was one of the first movies when I started
Die, I
like
cannot.
where I started to see censorship like really change. Like in the beginning, like in the opening scene.
when you see his, yeah.
Well, not only do you see it, but he's like flapping it, and
Yeah.
there's like also like the sound effects with it. And I remember thinking like it just like stunned me. Like that's allowed in film now. Like what's going on?
Yeah.
And like yeah, like I
mean,
just
you
started.
see like tits and everything else
I mean, yeah.
Do you see tits in that?
in films.
No, like in film,
Oh, and in films,
generally,
yeah.
generally you see more of that. But yeah, that was one of the ones that it, like for me like censored.
Yeah.
like, it just alerted
More
me to
dicks
like
now.
that's.
I honestly want to.
We're
say
part of the-
that
we need
might have
like
been the first dick I saw on a not pornographic film.
Yeah.
As far as like on film.
Mhm.
Besides every day
Yeah.
in life, normal life.
See my own dick.
Yeah, we need like an acronym for like men
What?
demanding more dicks in film. How come the girls get all the screen time with their tits?
Right?
I want my dick.
No, I think they said it best in Superbad. I was like, yeah, why can't like I would have to hide every boner that I have. Like, why don't they just they want to see that? Why don't they want to see that?
Love super bad.
We don't.
I know. No, because I had this conversation with my cousin this over the last week. she was telling me how she used to scam dudes. She's not older, but she's not in her 20s anymore. And she's like, yeah, no, did you not understand how I, made my money? Like I would just scam dudes. They would buy me stuff, and then that was it.
Whoa, wait,
She was the precursor to now the buy my premium Snapchats, where I'll just, I'll take your money and I'll like show you a little something type of thing. And I was like,
I mean, is that really taking your money because there's an exchange?
No, exactly. I'm not saying like it is.
Yeah.
I'm saying she found her hustle.
Yeah, yeah.
And she was like, yeah, if I grew up in this day and age, I'd probably be doing the cam girl stuff. I'm like, that's weird to think about. But I mean, I get it. You have your own hustle. I do not, put that down whatsoever. I just wish I could do it. I'm jealous of that. No girl or guy. Well, maybe some guys. Actually, I'll change that. Maybe some guys. No girl will pay to just see me, sit there and read a book.
Older women.
Older
women though, that
with a boner.
may want the
with a
company.
boner.
That may want the company of like a younger man who's. I mean, that's the thing.
I could sit there like this with my Superman shirt and have like Speedos and just have a rock hard boner reading a book. We call it boner books.
Ooh,
and it'll be boner book hour. Except
Look at
fuck,
that.
The less interesting the story goes, it's like
it just goes down. I was like, you guys got to tip me. You got to tip me to get it back up. It's actually it's a meter. My dick is the meter.
There's actually like there's a service for like young 20-something-year-old boys, men, whatever you want to call them. They're in the middle. They're depending. But
like,
there's a service where they can
boys ever really grow up.
Where like a girl can like request a guy to come and treat her like a queen and like rub her feet and like rub her back and pay attention to her and read to her and cook for her, and there's like services like that. So I mean, there's that.
What I also find interesting is that I've heard of multiple places like that with different services. Mm-hmm. One of them, but I think is interesting. Is guys will pay thousands of dollars to be verbally dominated. Yeah. And then I think that's weird. Like, it's not showing any boobs, anything, like not sexual things. Just literally just like treating a guy like shit, and then they pay you thousands of dollars for that. And it was all over Facebook for a while, and I was like,
their fetishes.
I was like, where do I sign up for this? Where do I sign up for it? I want that.
I want my balls stepped on. Some high heels.
No, for a while, Ryan, like one of his fascinations was he would see videos of women farting, and he's like, this is a fetish.
Yeah.
Someone likes all these videos.
Yeah. I mean, they get weirder from there, but like, yeah, totally.
Yeah. And so for the longest time, he would just send people videos of women farting. He put it on the show once. I was like, this is enough. Yeah. I don't want this.
It needs to be one of the sound effects. Girl fart.
Actually, I got one.
Here you go, girl fart.
There you go.
Love it.
If you've never heard a girl fart, that's what they sound like. That's why they hide them.
Yeah, as you know, girls don't fart. Girls do not fart. That's because when they do, it sounds like this.
we fart so hard, you guys.
Yeah, they save it all day. They don't want to fart, so that when they get home, they unleash.
It feels better when it's this way. Have to rack it up. It's like, go ahead, you can fart around me. It's cool. All right, really?
That's
bitch. What the fuck? Fuck out of my house. It's like, really? You trust me?
Yeah. That's what happens.
The
first time, dude. Okay, so actually, do you guys remember the first time your significant other of the past or whatever has farted in front of you?
Yeah.
Was it a big deal ever?
Not really.
No. What about for you? Did you ever you think about, oh, what? I didn't even know you farted.
No.
I mean, I think it becomes more of a deal when like they make a big deal out of it, of like not doing it and like being embarrassed about it. But when it's just like it happened and like move on with your life.
Yeah.
I think
move on with your life.
I was that kind of guy where I made a big deal mostly because I was like, I don't want to trap you in this. Like I was like, I will do it in front of you. Out in the open.
You don't
but
want
if we are in a room or like a car,
you're not gonna like Dutch oven.
that is not a good way to start. You know what I mean? It's funny. One of my friends just came in. He's like, "Oh, what a great way to start listening." But I was like, imagine that, but in your relationship. This is the first time I ever fart in front of you, and it's the worst thing you've ever smelled in your life, trapped in a car or something like that.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I think the first time I did it for my last significant other, I was like hiking. I was like, yeah, I fart too, and then eventually it like got forward. But remember the first time. And this is weird. It was a girl that I was dating. We weren't even together, but she was asleep and she farted. I'm like, huh.
I like how the horror music's
That
like.
is-
Did not.
She farted.
Yeah, because she was asleep after that. Like,
yeah.
And I was like, I did not expect that. I don't know how I feel about that.
I didn't expect that.
And then I put the covers over my face, and I was like,
Yeah.
all right, all right, all right, all right.
I
Sleeping
love-
in an igloo tonight.
I love how it only takes a matter of time
Shigloo.
of being around, like, being outnumbered by men in a conversation. It only takes a matter of minutes before we get into fart talk. It only, every damn time.
Yeah, I think one of the listeners got pissed last time. He's like, "Stop it with the toilet humor." But we was actually talking because we were talking about
You know,
cocaine.
that's really interesting because there's actually a lot of scientific and psychological
Into girl
like,
farts.
research as to like why don't you like fart? Why don't you like toilet humor?
Mm-hmm.
Or why do you like toilet humor?
Oh,
it's
really?
it's actually it's a
Well, I
thing.
feel like there's
Anyway.
science behind everything. Like why you
Mozart
like
was
it, really.
actually a big like
Farter.
Mozart. No, he was a big like into toilet humor and shit. Like, have you ever
Nice.
seen that movie Amadeus?
No, actually,
He's
I
just
haven't.
like a fucking like. All right, there's words I don't. He's like he just says he's like a dork, like he's crazy. But yeah, he just make like scat jokes all the time. Like he'd
He's a
even
scat
have
man?
like write songs and they'd be like shit in like this E minor or something like that. Like yeah.
And then last week we were talking about butt cocaine.
What?
Yeah.
Is
Wait,
that a
what?
thing?
Yeah, apparently it is. Ryan was saying that you can. I don't know what the proper term for is. Is not imbibe. Is it
cocaine?
imbibe and take? Like you take cocaine up your butt. I don't really know how that works,
Shoot.
or how it works, or what the actual term is. But yeah, we're talking about that.
I'm pretty sure you'll die really quick.
Die probably.
Yeah.
If
Well,
you
I mean,
overdose.
because the thing is that like going in one way, either through your nostrils
Yeah.
or like when like the whole thing back in the day was like alcohol through your butt or whatnot.
Yeah, back in the day. Remember
No.
that? You
Back
remember
in the
that?
day. Back in the
Must
day.
be,
No, really. Like I
call me
remember.
old school.
I remember at one point I started hearing reports of that happening, like in high school, where like people were getting
Butt
drunk
chugging.
with. Yeah, something
Also,
like that.
thanks to Steve-O.
Something. Oh, I think so. But the thing is that like
I heard
there's
about
no
the
way.
tampons, like them soaking it in like.
I've heard of
Vodka.
that.
Yes,
something.
that.
But the
And
thing
people
is
were
that,
getting like
like-
infections and dying and shit.
Yeah, going in one way, like you have the system in order for your you have your
Yes.
kidneys, you have your liver, you have
Detoxify.
There's
you
a
know
way that
there's
you're
a way, but
intended.
going the other way, it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, can we get some doctors to
Just
like chime in
distills
on
it.
it?
Well,
Comes
yeah,
out even
yeah.
purer.
The
Yeah.
whole we were talking about it last
like that's
week.
not
and
what it's meant to do.
no, but it
so-
hits you harder and faster.
yeah,
That's what I'm like, okay, well, I don't need it that much. How about just don't? How
Yeah.
about don't?
That's
Yeah.
another level, man.
Yeah, butt cocaine.
It's just getting pretty
Butt
dark,
cocaine.
man.
I know. What about dry?
It is a
dry,
it is a Halloween special,
dry ice. What was it? Witch's brew up the butt.
which is real, but
What do you guys
Not
think of this?
dry
It's good. Like I
pretty
look.
good.
That's right.
I
It's
looked
really
up.
sweet. I dig it.
Oh, because I think I added a little too much, but I made like a house-made ginger cinnamon syrup to put into it. I think that's what sweetened it up a little bit
It's
too
like
much.
sweet, kind of appley.
Yeah, that's I put apple cider for
I
what I
dig
thought
it.
would just be effervescence, but I think the dry ice took care of that.
It's like if you got that poisoned apple from, was it Snow White?
Ashley,
And
thank you for
juice that
joining
shit.
us. Thank you.
Do you know Ashley?
No, I just like there's all dudes, and then there's Ashley.
Oh, Ashley, you need to
Please
I
stay
think
here.
I saw another girl.
Please
up in
don't
there.
leave.
Megan was in there. Oh yeah, well,
Hi, Megan.
Megan was in there. Ashley's in here. Come on, more chicks in here, please.
Yeah. More chicks less.
What's in the glasses for
Dudes.
those tuning in now? Okay, for you guys just tuning in, these are house-made Halloween punch that I made with dry ice, so it gives it that cool like effect. But it has a lot of rum,
It's very strong.
very strong. Apple cranberry cider,
Yeah, I gotta work later.
cinnamon ginger syrup. Don't tell them about this. Pineapple juice, falernum, a lot of cool shit in there. Just a lot of things. So I would highly recommend. If you want to know, hit me up, and then I could give you the recipe. Also, Silvia has a pretty voice and laugh.
Thanks, bro.
That was Silvia, by the way.
I have a really great cry too.
Great cry. All right.
Make me cry, please.
I know.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna. Huh?
Moving on.
You're moving forward. Next story. Just kidding. All right, we're gonna move forward. Do you guys want to start on the stories now? I think. Who would like to go first?
I'll go.
Cool.
How about the girl with the pretty face and voice?
And
Go
voice and
first.
laugh and things. Because I didn't have that ready, but I wanted it. Let's go.
Okay. 14 years old. And the reason I want to start off with this one is because not only is it like the first thing to ever happen to me, but it was probably the most terrifying, because the thing is that, like, okay, when you hear ghost stories, it depends on like how it affects you, like sensory wise. You either see it, you smell it, you hear it, and yes, there is such a thing as like you actually smell it, like, you know, like the smell of sulfur. Like, a lot of people have like that same
shit.
like have that same story where like, oh yeah, it smelled like sulfur, and for some reason I smell
brimstone.
something,
Basically
or they
farts.
feel something, they walk into like a cold spot, etc. Or there's something like you know, they actually see something, which is the most common, which it could have been like anything. But the thing about this one is not only was it the first thing that ever happened to me, but there was like just too many details around it for me to be like, okay, to this day I know that it happened just because of all the details that were surrounding it. Because it wasn't just something visual, it was also audio, and like I felt it. So I'm 14 years old, and I'm in the house where I grew up in, with my entire family at home, and
It's called Hill House.
Hill House.
Yeah.
And I'm at home, everybody's asleep, and I remember it was the winter, so we let our dog, I only had one dog at the time, and he was pretty young. We'd leave him inside in order to just like sleep on the floor of the living room at that time. And so he was inside, everybody was asleep. I had closed my door, and I remember I physically closed it because my dog came in, jumped up on my bed, played around with me, and I saw him out right before I went to bed, and I closed the door, so I remember shutting it. Oh, I love that. Look at that sound.
That's what I was thinking. I was
So
like,
good.
his is bubbling more better than any of ours right now.
So it's the middle of the night, and there's a couple of things that like I should add context to really quickly. One of them is both of my brothers are really big prankers and really hardcore. We're talking like traumatizingly good pranksters, both of them. Well, the three of us are, and we just like would get each other back and forth pretty bad. But the other side is, you know, at this time, we weren't in the middle of a prank war or anything. Nice. We weren't in the middle of a prank war or anything, so what is this?
Soda water.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's gonna do two things. It's gonna
Music stopped for a second. It just made it extra creepy. It's like silent, like right when the pouring
Nice.
starts.
it'll also
So-
dilute it so it's not as sweet.
Not the pouring. The pouring.
The porn.
Pouring.
Going back to my
Emphasize.
story, I'm in a queen-sized bed, asleep.
Uh-huh.
And in this queen-sized bed, for some reason, they only use one side of the bed, and it's the one closest to the door.
Uh-huh.
And in the middle of the night, I hear the click of the door, the doorknob. I hear the click open, and then I hear the door actually open.
Mm-hmm.
It's so dark I can barely see anything, but I do see a dark figure that contrasts a little bit against the rest of the dark. So it is a bit darker, and I do see that it's a pretty like tall shape.
Yes.
So I'm thinking it's either my older brother, who is a prankster, coming to scare me, or it's my mom, who may have gotten into like a little spat with my dad and wants to come hang out with me or something. I
Mhm.
wasn't sure. So like the door clicks open and creaks open, and I see that shadow, and I was just like, I just didn't say anything. I just exactly. And I stay quiet. I don't do anything. And I'm like, you know, if it's my mom checking up on me, or if it's my brother about to scare me, like they'd say something, so I stay quiet. And at that time, nothing happened. So like I can feel whatever he, she, it is kind of like just stay and like kind of just take in the space or whatnot.
Ghost X.
Ghost tags. And but then the contrast that I just mentioned earlier, that, you know, I could tell it's dark, but the shadow is darker, I no longer saw that. I just saw all black at this point, so I wasn't sure if like they closed the door or what, because I didn't hear anything else. It was just dark.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, did they walk out? What happened? And then I start feeling, because I mentioned in this queen size bed, I only sleep on one side of the bed and it's closest to the door. I feel as if somebody is climbing over me to get into the other side of the bed next to me.
Ooh.
I feel it because when you feel someone doing that, not only do you feel the weight of a mattress and, you know, the way that it sinks in one way or another, but you also, if someone's doing that, you also feel the way that a blanket is moving across from you because of their weight and because of their movement.
Mm-hmm.
So I do feel both of those things. And that's when, and, you know, at this point, nobody has said anything. It's been quiet this entire time. So I ask, what? Like, pretty upset, because I'm like, it's either my brother pranking me or it's my mom that's not telling me. And then at that point, it stops and it's still over me when I say what. And then it's just like, it's kind of like a little standoff. We're just both quiet and completely still. And I say, get out. And at that point, I feel like that weight lift off the bed. I don't see anything else. It's completely black, but I hear the click of the door. And so I'm just like, what the hell is that? You know, if it was my brother, he would have smacked me and been like, oh, fuck off.
It's like, oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, excuse me.
I leave.
I thought this is the
But
bathroom.
if it
This
was-
is not the bathroom.
If it
I don't know why your brother's in the Beatles.
And
a
if
British
it was my
ghost.
mom, she would have said, oh, sorry, mija, or something, you know? Like, something would have happened at that point. But at this point, this entire thing happened in complete silence and in complete darkness. Someone clicking open the door, walking in, trying to get into bed next to me.
Yes.
Me asking them what, get out, and then walking away. Complete silence on their end. So at this point, I'm sitting up in bed and I'm just like, what the hell is that? It's not my brother. It's not my mom. The dog, I know for a fact, is in the living room. So, like, how can the dog not bark if it's not someone? So that's when I start getting like, okay, well, what else could it be? I go out into the hallway. I turn on the hallway light. I see my dog there chilling and just, like, flicking its tail at me, like, chilling out.
I was like, you did this with your finger. I was like, is it listening to music with his headphones on? It's like, yeah.
And then I go further. I'm just like, okay, the dog hasn't barked, so it's somebody who's in here, like a family member, obviously. So I go in and check in my brother's room, the only brother that it could have been at that time, and he's completely asleep, like drool coming out of his mouth, completely out. And so at that point, I'm just like, I check my parents' room, and their bedroom's locked, which it always is when they're asleep. So I'm like, okay, so it's none of these people. And I knock on my parents' room, and I ask, I'm like, hey, guys, did you guys just come in my room? And I hear from there, like, sleepy. They're like, what? Wait, what? I was like, did either of you just come into my room? And then they get freaked out, and they, like, jump out of bed, and they come out to talk to me. And they're like, what happened? I'm like, I just experienced this, and I explained to them the entirety of the story. And I also explained to them, like, it happened. I'm not half asleep. I was wide awake. It happened, and I know for a fact it happened because I heard the click, and I heard this, and I heard that. And I heard, I heard the door shut again. And I explained all of these other elements as to why it definitely did happen. It wasn't either of them. And then my dog is completely, like, hasn't barked, hasn't done anything. So I'm just like, I don't know what it could have been. So we all do a check around the house. My dad primarily does it outside. We do inside. Nothing's around. I don't know what happened exactly, but like that was a first instance where something was in my room and that happened. And then from there, I've had a couple more experiences in that same room. And it's really funny because that was at 14. About that time is when I left from LA to move to Mexico and to live there for some time.
Uh-huh.
And nothing happened in the entire time I was out there. And then when I come back to that room, like the first week that I come back to that same room when I was like 18, it starts up again. And stuff begins to happen. But I can go into that in a little bit.
Interesting.
Anyway.
Can I use the restroom real quick? It's like booze is going right through me.
Yes,
All
you
right.
may go.
I'll continue with your ghost story,
Sure.
Silvia.
Because like it was that
Yeah.
day. That was the end.
I mean, to this day, my parents are like, oh no, you know, she must have seen something, she must have dreamt something. I was like, come on, guys, I was like completely awake.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is like they looked at each other and they started telling me like, no, it didn't happen. I was like, you guys know it happened.
How old were you again?
14. And it's funny because I'm the only one that this kind of consistently it happens to.
Yes.
It's really interesting, but yeah, the other guys, they I mean, they've had a little run-ins here and there, but consistently it's been me, and it's that room specifically.
Interesting. Have you ever looked into the house at all?
I haven't.
'Cause, one thing that I seem to consistently fall upon, I guess you could say, is haunted houses, at least from what people that live there tell me.
Yeah. There's also just haunted people.
There are haunted people. Definitely. Yeah, and I think that these things attract other things. That's what it is. And I generally keep my mind so that I don't attract anything because I really don't want to deal with any of that.
Right.
But I have had one experience.
Yeah.
One when I was a lot younger and I was still very open and susceptible to these things. It was the very first house that my parents actually bought.
Mm-hmm.
I was about 6 or 7 years old, and it was a very old house. My brother and I, we shared a room with bunk beds, and so I was on the top and he was on the bottom. And for whatever reason, my parents slept with their door locked as well. But us, we had the doors wide open, probably so they could hear us if they needed to. Excuse me. So
It's like
one
chocolate
night,
rain.
I move away from the mic to breathe.
You a little,
Yeah.
Pop up right here.
So when I was younger, this is the only time I can remember anything really happening, but I remember it so vividly. It was really just that I got really cold in the night, and I had my blankets and everything. I was on the top bunk, and I remember waking up and just like hearing something like footsteps in the hallway because my door was open. So I just assumed it was my dad. He likes to wake up really early and just do random shit because he does. So I looked up and I couldn't see anyone yet. So I was like, what's going on? Then right outside my room was a bookcase. And I saw what looked, to me at least, like a very faint but definitely distinct electric blue outline of a man. I could tell it was a man. Like, I don't know why I could tell it was a man, but it looked like a man.
It looked like a man.
Looked like a man. As soon as I said that too, I was like,
Swan.
exactly. And
oh God, I haven't heard that in forever.
yeah,
Swan.
and then he walked towards the bookcase, and he pulled out a specific book off of what I would say would probably be the 4th shelf up. But it wasn't the actual book. It was like he reached into a book and then pulled out almost like a weird energy book. And
What do you mean weird energy book?
well, because it wasn't the book, but it came out and it was blue like him.
Okay.
And so when he pulled that out, he opened it up, looked at some lines, looked at me, and then put the book back and walked away. And then, kind of like you, I was like, what? I stayed on my, I think I stayed sitting in that position.
This is
for
your
like,
little hidden hentai book. He just judging you, just like.
I literally, like, I waited there for like 15 minutes to see if he would come back. Jumped out. I didn't even climb down the ladder. I jumped out of my bed and then immediately went into, like, I saw my brother was still asleep. Went into my parents' room and I told them the whole thing. But
Right.
that was it for me, though.
Did they believe you?
No, they just said it was a dream.
How old were you?
6 or 7.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
which
I mean, who the hell's gonna believe you when you're 6 or 7 or 14, really?
exactly. And so throughout my life, every house that I've gone to since then, someone has told me, "Oh, you live in that house."
Doing it on purpose.
Including this one.
Well, this one's definitely. If any house is haunted, it's this one. This is the oldest house with the most amount of dead things around it, for sure. Most of them are pets, though.
Including a pig. Rip.
Is
Yes.
the pig buried
All
Can
right,
we,
there?
can we
R.I.P.
have a
pig.
moment of silence for
We
your
should.
pig?
All right.
Can you explain what happened?
Yes. So my cousin kept her pig here, and we took care of the pig. And one day, fed the pig breakfast, left to work, came back. Pig was dead, unfortunately.
And this is like a full-blown pig, and we just met it like a few
Last
weeks
time you were
couple
here.
weeks ago. And it's dead now.
That wasn't full blown. It was kind of like caved in pig.
Well, like I said, it was an old
Yeah.
pig. Yeah, old pig that didn't really want to do much. So it was like, okay, I kind of saw that it was coming.
It was on its way out.
Yeah, it was on its way out for sure.
Porky had her run. His
I'm
run. Was it a boy or a girl?
It was a girl.
I'm actually gonna put my dog down this week, and she's 16 years old. She's a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
She's been with me for so long, and I'm
It's
gonna
for
have to put
German Shepherd for 16.
for 16
That's
years.
a full.
She's
life.
supposed to be. I mean, they're supposed to be 12 to 14 years
Yes.
maximum. But the vet told us that it's a testament of how well we loved her and took care of her.
That's
But
good.
no, unfortunately, like I'm putting her down this week.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry.
yeah, it sucks.
I've had to put down. Well, not me personally, but I've had dogs put down. It's horrible because I mean,
That sucks.
good and bad because you're like this dog has lived its whole life.
Yeah.
But you're like, I don't want you to suffer. Like
Yeah.
what's the time? It's like, okay, you're blind, you're deaf, you can't move that much. I was like, even like you are just in pain.
Yeah.
I truly feel
Sure.
that way about humans as well, but more people are not again.
Right.
Not with that.
Right.
Like my grandmother was all about like it was horrible because I would talk to her a lot when she was coherent, and then the last like 3 or 4 years she was like, I'll see you in the morning, maybe, bye.
Yikes.
Like she was like ready to go.
Yeah.
But then she stopped talking. She stopped being able to move, really, do anything for herself. I'm like, this is not what anyone wants for themselves.
Yeah.
I told my family, I was like, if I get to the point where I can't answer your questions, just
Wait,
Yeah.
what's this? What a creep. Is he talking about the Steven guy?
I think so.
Lols.
Talking about well, it's the chat room. Don't listen to the chat room. We love you, Steven.
Yeah.
You're a cool guy.
Yeah, that sucks.
She's
I
pretty,
mean,
I guess.
I guess like the only thing that really breaks my heart about that is like how innocent they are and how like their entire lives are in our control. How much we feed them, how much we pay attention to them, how much we love them, how much like time we put into them, and then also like to the end of like, you know, if they get put down or not, it's on us, and they're so innocent. Like they are so innocent.
I know.
But like at the same time,
Really?
like
There's so much
Bitten
out of
by
our
a
control
dog?
too.
at the same
I have.
time, like
Yeah.
it's
Not
in the face.
the most innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
Well,
the same
They're
time,
dicks
like,
sometimes too for
they're
no
dicks.
reason. Yeah.
If you think about it, the reason that they do it is usually because they're scared of something. And every time that I've been bitten by a dog twice, and I understand why I've been bitten.
Yeah. I mean, it's never out of like I'm just gonna be a piece of shit and just bite you. Like it's typically like I'm in danger.
When I was a little kid, I tried playing like fetch with the dog because I
Yeah.
thought that was a thing to do because like that's what they teach you in cartoons and shit. So I threw him a stick and he started chewing on it. I went to go grab it. And that's why I have these fucking scars all over my hand right here because he fucking ripped my hand apart.
Well,
Yeah.
that tells me that that's not the dog. That's you growing up with thinking that
Hey, how
every
about
dog's okay to play
see
with.
you got like that zipper looking mouth? Anywho,
Anyway,
I was a little boy, okay? So
For me,
who's the
I
asshole?
always thought I was no actually for me too. It was similar in the thought process. It was like I grew up thinking that what I saw in cartoons was how things were.
we all did.
So I love animals.
Yeah.
Always have.
I just thought all dogs were cool.
So I grabbed we had a new dog, and it was like it was a younger, like not younger but smaller dog. I don't remember exactly what type. I remember it was black. I was like really young, and I just wanted to hug it all the time.
Yeah.
So one time it was laying down on the floor, and I went down on the floor, and I made eye contact, but you're not supposed to with certain animals. And I was like staring at this dog, and I was just moving closer. Which now that I know,
love you.
yeah, no, that's what it is. And it was literally like, I love this dog. I love you. I don't know you. I was mimicking the dog. I was like, I don't know you, but I love you. And I got really close, and then it was like, I'm like, why are you growling? And I'm looking at it dead on in the eyes.
And it's like warning you.
Yeah, exactly.
He was
But
like, why don't you love me?
I was super young. Yeah, this was probably even like maybe 5, maybe.
Yeah.
But I remember it because it was like it bit me, but lightly on the cheek, and then it just like ran away.
Love bite.
Love bite. Yeah.
I mean, that was a warning.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like don't fucking do that.
This wasn't a love bite. This is
Yeah.
like,
Well, I think it was thinking you were
It was
taking
like
his
a fuck you
food.
bite.
yeah. I was like, bitch, I gave you that shit. Like,
Yeah, but now that you're like older, like I understand animals. I've had many animals. I've
Yeah.
like trained animals. I understand what leads to what. So that would be like, trying to take a food from an animal. Me is being threatening to the animal.
Yeah.
I always whack him with the stick first now, just to let him know, like, I fuck you up. All right, here, there's your stick.
Assert dominance.
Yeah.
Assert
dominance.
Yeah.
Take a piss
Treat.
on them.
Yeah.
There you go.
This is me. This is my scent.
Yeah. I'm a fart in your bowl. I don't know.
Anyway, that's gonna happen this week. And like one thing for sure is like I definitely want to be with her because I remember reading some shit online that's been going around recently of like it was like someone took a screenshot of like a vet talking about like, hey, pet owners, when you go and put your dog down and you leave and you leave us to do it, your pet is fucking terrified because they're just left with us, the vet, who they don't know.
Yes.
And you just took off crying and that's fine, but your dog's here scared and that's the way that it dies.
Yup.
And it's like, fuck. And it's like,
Taking
after
my
I
dog,
saw
get put
that, I
down,
was just like
goodbye.
not going to do that. Yeah, I can't do that. I'm going to be with her. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on. Scary stories.
Exactly. No, I was thinking about the pig. I was like, I felt bad for the pig because I was like, it didn't have anyone around there. Like I thought,
You start hearing ghost pigs, man.
I mean, we all
no, there
died
might be
alone.
more dead animals here than there are anything else. This house was owned by my family for a long time, and my entire family hoarded everything, including animals. We had like a caiman here at one point and a monkey.
Oh.
Before my time.
I have at least 10 questions, but they'll take longer than this podcast, so let's move on.
We didn't keep the caiman and the monkey in the same thing.
I have this cool ghost story. It's the only ghost I've ever seen.
Okay.
I think it was a ghost at least. But I used to sneak out to my friend's house. Or I'd go stay at his house. We'd go skate spots that were like open during the day, closed at night. Only at night you could skate them. And so one night I stayed over. We're supposed to go skate, but instead he was like, "Do you want to go like check this like little graveyard out?" And I was like, "Sure." And if you're like in Whittier, Santa Fe Springs area, it's like down on like Telegraph and something.
Yeah.
But it's like the smallest little like cemetery ever. And so we skated over there. We got like snacks from A&PM, like chips and stuff. And so it's got 3 brick walls on the back and sides, and the front is just chain link fence. And so we're just sitting there like eating our chips. It's nighttime. And then both my friends, they see something on the right side of the wall next to one of these like headstones. And they're like, "Do you see that? Oh my God." And they're like freaking out. And it took me forever to see it. But they're like, "Look, it's like a body. It's like someone's shadow like digging." And like I didn't see it for the longest time. And then when I finally saw it, I was like, like my heart stopped. And it just looked like a shadow of a guy like this, like digging, like lurched over. And it's like in this business area, just some random little like, let's put a cemetery here. And there's like the big like overhead parking lights everywhere. No trees, like no nothing to cause. There's one tree in the far right corner, but it couldn't cause like this little shadow. So we're trying to like debunk it while we're there. And we just had like no explanation. It's just next to this grave on the right side, the wall had the shadow of like this guy like digging a grave like right next to it. And so we just watched it for like 10 minutes like silently. And then this cop car pulled up behind us, was like, "Hey, like the fuck are you kids doing here?"
Yeah.
I don't know. And we're just like, and he's like, "Go home, it's like curfew." And we just like skated out, and I was like, that was that. But my sister, she actually saw some shit the other night. And
How recently?
like 2 weeks ago, maybe less. And she explained it to me, and I looked it up, and I saw a whole forum of like people that saw the same shit. So she woke up in the middle of the night, and she thought she saw like a spider coming down from her roof or something like that. And she just said it looked like a hairball, and it was just like moving. And so once she woke up, it was just like moving still, and she was like trying to focus. It was like dark, and it just started heading towards the wall, like moving really slowly like that. And she went to go run and turn on the light, and before she did, she saw it like disappear into the wall. And she said she's seen it before in her room. It did the same thing. It goes and disappears into the wall. So if you like Google like like black orb, like hairball thing, like
Okay,
there's
well,
all these stories, like people seeing the same thing.
My favorite story about a black orb hairball is from my neighbor Totoro. And
Totoro.
Yes, with the dust bunnies.
Wait, but like when I looked that up, it was really interesting because like supposedly it looked like a cush ball. Do you remember those things?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it's just like all these little hairs, and it's just like She thought it was a spider coming down from a roof, and it just floated into the wall and disappeared. Yeah. Totoro.
Totoro does bunny. That's exactly what I would think of. Look at these.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was about to post that.
But no, I mean, these could be just a different culture's interpretation of what you're talking about.
That's what my balls look like.
That's weird.
Jesus, are you okay?
Yeah. Are they
I don't
burnt?
know. I've never had them checked out.
The burnt? You burnt them?
They're just like, they're ready to go.
Okay. Good to know. All right.
Don't Google Totoro Dust Bunny.
Because you'll get a picture of Leonard's balls.
Yeah.
Of Roland Leonard's balls. All right.
Or you can just message me and you'll get a picture.
And he'll just send you the picture of his
It's the
balls.
automatic response. Like, when I'm not away from keyboard, just...
Hey. And it's like, here.
Picture of your
Here's my balls.
Oh. All right. I guess
Oh, no.
he's away.
Yes. Well, I want to thank you all for sharing your stories and your graphic images of your genitalia. Except for you. I mean, just you.
Yeah.
You didn't do that.
No
No.
graphic images of my genitalia anywhere.
Nope, none of that. I want to thank you all for listening to this scary portion of this of the podcast. We're gonna move forward into stories. Are you?
So fast forward, 18 years old,
Ooh,
same
yes,
room.
yes.
Same room.
I didn't know if you were gonna tell us
So
that.
I mentioned
Yes.
that, right? So 14 years old, that happens. Very soon after that, for whatever reasons, I get sent to Mexico to live over there. For whatever reason.
I was like, are we gonna go into that at all?
No, not at all.
All right, but
Not
you
at
get-
all. Not at all, because I was being a bad child. But anyway.
But you get
so
sent to
I
Mexico.
get sent to Mexico. I lived there for a few years, and I know they're like, we can't handle you back to the motherland.
Wow.
And then so I come back at 18. I swear it's been maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks that I'm back, and I'm there in my room.
Yes.
Same room that that same situation happened in, and
The occurrence. We're gonna call it the occurrence.
the happening.
Ooh.
That occurred in and occurred. You guys.
We like words.
Oh God. And then I'm there. It's really late into the night, and I can't get to bed. So what I decided to do is I put on one of those sleep masks, thinking, okay, like, obviously I'm gonna sleep a little bit later, probably till like 9 or 10. So I'm gonna put this mask on, so sleep mask on, so that I can have complete darkness and I can sleep longer, etc., and get some rest. So I'm chilling out. I put that on, and I'm going to sleep. I'm not asleep yet, but as I'm falling asleep, I feel this weight on my chest, and I feel like it just feels like pressure on my chest, like someone literally someone puts a plank on you, because it's even pressure. It's not more one way or another. It's just like puts a plank on you and like sits on you. That's what it feels like. I can't move. I can't move a muscle. I can't. Well, that's not true, because your tongue is a muscle. The only thing I can move is my tongue and my eyes. But I have this mask on, so I can't see shit. So this is fucking terrifying. I can't see shit.
My interpretation of you.
I was thinking the same thing.
No. How?
Only these
you
muscles
can't-
work.
You can't say. I can't speak. I can't use, like, I can't speak. I can't move. The only thing I can do is open my eyes and maybe move my tongue in my mouth a little bit, little less than that. Less. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Do less.
Less. There you go.
Not the mouth, just the tongue.
And what ends up happening is this happens for a while and I'm like, I can breathe through it. I can think through it. I'm completely conscious, and I'm just thinking of, like, what is this? What's happening? What could it be? And when it finally lifts, is the only way I can explain it, is like it feels like the weight lifts off of your body. I like rip off my mask, and like there's nothing there, and I'm like freaking out, and I'm just like, okay, what the fuck was that? There's nothing in here. There's no one in here. There's nothing happening. in Mexico, the thing is that the only reference I had of this, had I not lived in Mexico like the 2.5, 3 years prior, I wouldn't have understood this. But like in Mexico, there's we have a very close connection to the paranormal and the
spirit
occult.
world.
We just do. It's I wouldn't want to say it's part of the culture necessarily, because it's not part of the culture, but it's definitely like
Part of the heritage.
it's part of some people's Mexican culture, some people's, because some families really do delve deep into brujeria and some absolutely do not. So it's
It's
But
kind of like
I think
that
it's-
third world, like they got like, you know, that deeper connection. I feel like just shit like that.
to stuff like that. Yeah. So I had heard about incidents like this in Mexico, which is the reason why I was even more freaked out about it, is because I actually had a reference for it, and it was in Mexico. The phrase is called, and anybody of you who speaks Spanish, ask your, or know people who speak Spanish, ask your relatives about this. Ask them, have you ever heard of the phrase that se te sube el muerto? And what that translates to is that the dead climb on top of you. Like, that's a phrase. Se te sube el muerto. Or, oh, se le subió el muerto. Like, someone says, like,
Like
oh, okay, that happened to them. Like,
Incubus.
I
Or
mean,
succubus.
they don't actually say that necessarily. And
Well-
wait, hold on. Before we get into that, incubus and succubus have a sexual connotation to it, attached to it. This wasn't it at all. It wasn't something that was sexual at all.
Yeah.
It was just something that was like pressure and whatnot, and like that's something that is a phrase that's used in Mexico, is like se sube el muerto. Here in the United States, if you look into something like that, the first thing you're going to be directed to are like scientific articles, as far as what's the word?
Sleep
paralysis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which
Exactly.
most people,
Sleep paralysis.
that's the first thing that they'll jump into.
Exactly. So like, there's that
Steven.
logical explanation
It
for
doesn't
it.
feel scientific. Like.
Does not feel scientific at all.
Yeah,
in
I've had
fact, it depends. Like, it's funny because to this day it still happens to me,
Yes.
and it does not feel scientific. I understand the logic behind it, and to be honest, I want to believe it. Like, that's what I want to believe
Want it
that
to be.
happens. Totally,
Yeah, of course.
absolutely.
You
But when it's
want it to be
but
something
when-
logical like that.
But when it's happening, it actually feels emotional.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Like, it just depends on like when it happens. It feels sometimes angry.
Metaphysical.
Like,
too.
again, I believe it's sleep paralysis. I just want to make that clear.
The times.
I believe it's sleep paralysis, but when it is actually happening, it feels emotional on not my part, and that's what feels more like, could it be something else? Because it depends. Like, initially it feels like very even and like a pressure just like on and just like to scare you. But depending on what time of my life it's happened, sometimes it feels like it's doing this, like it's like grabbing you and holding you down, pushing, like letting go and pushing, like to scare you.
Yes.
Again, I believe it's sleep paralysis, but when it happens, it feels like it isn't.
I've
That's
had it
all.
happen to me like a few times, and it's always when I stay the night like at someone's house. Like I had an ex-girlfriend, and her brother moved into this new spot, and I went and stayed there. And the first night we slept, I was laying in like this bed, and I kind of felt like, you know, when your foot starts to fall asleep, it kind of felt like that, but it was like coming over like my whole body, like someone was kind of like taking over like this and like just going like into me.
That felt good. Thank you.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it's just like slowly, like it feels like your whole body is like falling asleep and it's going into you like that. And I was like asleep, like trying to fight it off, and it's just like this whole thing, just like my body is just like all tingly. It's just like, you know, it's like when your foot's asleep and it's tingly like that, it just feels like, you know, there's like something in there, you can't shake it.
Yeah.
It was like my whole body was like that, and I was also dreaming at the same time, so I was like fighting it off in my dream, just like fucking, and yeah, I was able to fight it off. And that was at that house. And then I stayed at my friend's other new house one time. And the same thing happened. Like, I had this really weird dream that tied into it, but it's too weird, so I don't want to talk about it. But it's like the same thing happened. Like, I felt like that tingly sensation.
This is the good form to do that. Just go for it.
Yeah, it was a really weird dream. And it's like, I had a dream that, like, I was in that room, but someone had like suffocated in that room, and I kind of like experienced them like suffocating, and like everyone around them freaking out, and like, you know, they couldn't breathe, and then as I was experiencing like that, like that's when I started feeling like the sleep paralysis, and I was like, oh, this thing's like on me now. Like whatever, like I was experiencing that person going through that, whatever was like attacking them was like attacking me at that point. And I kind of like fought it off and like woke up in that room and was like, shit. And like my friends came in and we just like smoked weed and just like forgot about it. But yeah, anytime
the solution to everything.
Right.
Yeah, anytime that's happened, like that's how it always feels. It just feels like your body's like falling asleep, like just that tingling sensation, like it's taking over you. I don't know if it feels that way for you.
No,
but that's
it just feels no tingling sensation. Just straight feels like weight, like the like body weight.
Yeah, and it's like you can't move and stuff. It's like,
and it feels even. It doesn't actually feel like a body, like the torso would be heavier than the legs or something like that. But like it just feels like even weight. And to answer Steven, it's an incubus is a demon in a male form, and its female counterpart is a succubus. Yeah. Yes. And I gotta piss like a racehorse.
Piss alive, piss away. All right.
Oops, sorry, it still works right.
It's all good. All right. Cool. That was spooky stories. Did you have anything else that you wanted to follow that up with before we get into other stories?
Do you watch like Ghost Adventures or anything like that?
I haven't seen anything. See, like I've made the decision to sort of keep paranormal out of my life.
I do too, but like I'm super interested in it. So it's like I like own a Ouija board, but I've never used it. I'm just like, it just feels like I have like some like relic, Like,
have you used a Ouija board?
I've never used one. I've had like an ex-girlfriend and like, they would use it and I just kind of like watch them and like, I'm like not going to actually touch it, but I just like being there watching it because it's creepy.
Interesting story. This isn't even my own story. This is my family's story. But it takes place in this house. So,
I should have brought mine.
The Ouija board? You have one, but you've never used it?
Yeah, I don't want to use it. I just wanted one. It's like, what's that movie where he has a collection of like all the paranormal stuff, like the Annabelle doll in his room?
Oh, well, it's not like a collection. I think it's from their cases, but yeah, The Conjuring, I think.
Yeah. I just want something like that, but I don't want to actually like fuck with it. Like, I'll let my friends go mess with that stuff, and I'll just watch them.
I hear you. All right, so when this is where my mother and my tia, my aunt, they grew up here, in this house. At one point, their brother, my Theo, who, I mean, he's decided to leave the family. Are you like
Spanish at all?
I'm half Mexican. I'm half Mexican and half Chinese.
Okay, well,
so this is my Mexican side.
Uncle and aunt in like Chinese?
I don't even know.
Okay.
I speak way more Spanish than I do Chinese. I speak near no Chinese.
Yeah.
I can order dim sum and food. Chinese. But as far as Spanish goes, like, I mean, it's been more prevalent in my upbringing.
Cool.
So
your Theo,
my Theo, he brought in a Ouija board at one point, I believe, and my grandma, my abuelita, she immediately was like, "Nope, get that shit out of this house."
Yeah.
And so she threw it out, and then I believe months later, like my mom and my aunt, one of them was looking through their closet, and they found the exact same board.
Oh yeah.
It came back.
I always heard about that, like people throwing it away and like it
would show back up.
I haven't thrown mine away yet, but I haven't even used it, so it's like maybe there's no connection yet.
Mm-hmm.
I've opened it up and looked at it, and I was like, cool. Like, back in the case you go.
Yeah.
It's locked away in storage, but...
We were saying that there was a Ouija board brought into the house, and it was thrown out. And then months later, when someone was just looking through a closet, they found it again.
I used one time, but like it was with a girl, and it was like at some like weird spot, like in Uptown Whittier. They had this bookstore, and they had this little like spiritual section with like a Ouija board. And so like I grabbed the thing, and I was like pretending. I was like, "Whoa, look, like it's moving." And like it went off the thing and like onto my crotch. I was like, "Oh, what's it trying to say?" And she's like, "You fucking dick."
Says you need a magnifying glass.
That's what the hole is.
When I was in junior high, for some reason there was a little bit of a craze with Ouija boards for a little bit, but nobody actually had the money or like the permission to go buy a Ouija board, so everybody kind of made their own. And they pretended, I forgot what it was they used exactly to pretend that like it worked. And everybody was like going batshit over this, and I like rolled my eyes over it because it was just so stupid. And so I went home. I made my own.
You made a Ouija board? I
made my own. It was made out of like, I don't know, like cardstock paper, like the thick cardboard paper, and But what I did was like, yeah, I took my time and like intricately designing it or whatever. But I came back to school because I was like, oh my god, like this is really stupid, and I'm just gonna like fuck with these people. So I got a magnet and then a string with a needle. So I presented it like, oh look, I made this one, like as if I was all into this whole thing, and everyone was like, oh look, it looks cool, whatever, and like we started playing with it. But I brought them, I was like, oh, but you have to use it with a thread and a needle. So it was like a thread holding it over like with a needle, but I had a really, really strong magnet, and I was like fucking with them with the magnet underneath. Best time I've had in a while.
That sounds amazing.
And like I was just fucking with them like, oh, you know, does this person love me? Fuck no.
And it literally said fuck no.
No, I didn't.
Those are the only.
I was like, yes, no, da da da.
On a
I didn't
week.
even know, like, yeah.
Huh?
But at one point, all of our Ouija boards got confiscated by like what are they called? Like the
Administration.
Whatever it was, like
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. But at one point, everything got confiscated. But for a while, for a little moment, I had control of like just a Ouija board with magnets because I thought it was really stupid that everybody was into it. But
That's cool.
that was fun. That was junior high.
Have you ever used a real one?
I have not, and I wouldn't. I honestly, like, whatever it is that people believe, whether it is or isn't, it's real or anything, is like, it's just like, what's the point? And I'd just rather not.
I'm with you on that one.
There's a lot of like Netflix movies where it starts off with like the
I know.
kids messing around. It's like the magnets and everything, and they're like all joking around, and then like some real shit happens.
With
Yeah.
magnets?
Yeah.
Well, okay,
With
so
magnets? No.
I don't know about-
like, aren't they playing with like real Ouija boards?
I'll find you some shit.
okay, so one that I can think of is Ouija 2. There was a Ouija movie that I guess wasn't good, and
Yeah.
then Ouija 2 was better. I
Oh,
saw
yeah?
that one, and it was literally like she had a magnet attached to her knee, so under the table she could move the thing with her knee.
Yeah, the first Ouija one, like the previews looked really dumb, so I was like,
Yeah, but the second one I saw, and that was pretty.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a lot better.
that's cool. It's nice
Yeah,
that
Ouija
everybody's stepping up.
Origin of Evil is the second one.
Nice.
I mean, some people believe that it's a gateway to evil.
Yeah,
So.
which is why I don't want to fuck with it, but I also really do.
yeah,
Not in
it's like
this
you
house.
want to, but then
Not
you
in
want to
this
be
house,
like,
though.
all right, I'm done. But it's kind of hard to just be like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah. So I've mentioned to you before, and like maybe like off the cuff comment and whatnot, but like there's one side of my family that not only do they run a Christian church, but some of them are actually missionaries, and like their specialization is exorcisms. So I know I have enough context in my life as to things that have happened to other people, whether you want to explain them away logically, scientifically, or otherwise. I've had enough examples in my life where that other people are experiencing certain things for me to know, like, you know what, like, if I don't have to, I don't know the answer to it. I feel like I'm a logical person, and I would research this and be like, oh, this is why. But there are certain things that don't have an answer to them, and they're at the core of it. There's an origin to it, or there's a common denominator.
An origin of evil.
An origin of evil. Like, if there's a common denominator, Ouija board, like, why would I fuck with it? That's just my law. Again, it's like, you could be completely into like religion, you could be completely into science, but at the core of it is if there's a common denominator that's a red flag, hey, you know what, kind of be smart about it, maybe just don't deal with it if you don't have to, whatever the reason is, you know, like, again, spiritual or scientific or otherwise.
One of my coworkers recently, he invited me, 'cause he did there's like that hidden Nazi bunker like in LA somewhere.
Yeah.
I was like,
I've been
yeah, no,
there.
we all have one.
Yeah.
It's like, we
Yeah.
have one.
Well, he went
please
there.
don't, like, it's like Trump era, like, that's a real thing now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Everyone
do not
has
have one.
Go on.
Yeah, he went to one with his friends, and they did like a whole EVP thing.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's like the electric voice phenomenon where you record just audio, and then you enhance it later. Like, you ask questions and you enhance it to see if there's any answers and stuff. And they got a bunch of stuff, and he was like looking up, what was it? Because it was a Nazi thing, he was looking up like Jewish, like whatever. And so one of the EVPs he caught was like, he's been learning about Jews. Like, it was like someone like said that he's been learning about Jews. And yeah, he just caught like all kinds, like, it's on YouTube. He sent me the link, but it's gnarly. And I told him, I was like, dude, I'd be down. He's like, yeah, man, let's go. So maybe like we'll do that soon. That'll be on the next one. I'll let you guys know.
That'd
how
be
it goes.
cool. That'd be fucking
Yeah,
cool.
that shit's fucking creepy, man. But I'm still down. Like,
I'm into that paranormal. Like, I'm into the concept of it, but I try not to invite it into my own life.
Yeah, it's
See,
like I just like flirting with it, and then like
We've had a
See,
ghost
that's
hunter on here
like-
too.
Yeah, that's like another thing too. Is
we
like
had ghost hunters on here
Yeah, they told
Yeah.
us about it last time. Anyway, they did.
last time. This is my first time on here.
Okay. Last time you're too drunk to remember.
He likes turtles.
He likes turtle.
All I know is turtles.
You did talk to us about that, and that's another thing. It's like, okay, again, whether or not you believe in it, whether you're completely logical and super smart and go the scientific logical route, or whether you actually believe in the spirituality that, goes across all dimensions, whatever it may be, there's like. Whatever. Like, honestly, like, there, if something keeps popping up as far as like, there's certain windows that you can leave open for yourself, and where certain things can access and this and that. I don't know, like, maybe don't fuck with that. But if you want to, just come over here and tell us your stories, though.
That's true. We'd love to hear them.
Yeah, we want. I mean, there's 2 viewers right now, but if anyone has any ghost stories,
3.
please feel free to share.
Brittany.
Well, look, there's one right here.
Brittany.
Brittany, tell us a ghost story. Look.
Tell us
Please.
about a ghost story, Brittany.
Definitely tell us in the comments your own ghost stories. We'd love to hear them.
I guess it's not. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I want to hear about this.
Jeez. Oh, good. I was like, what are you doing now? Fuck everything. I want to hear about this.
Yeah, I watched lots of ghost shows like Ghost Adventures, Paranormal. What's that one called? Paranormal
Activity? Investigation?
No, it's Paranormal.
Pick a word.
Dude, there's so many paranormal ones I can't even remember. Like, yeah, there's paranormal everything, but Witness. Yeah,
Okay.
that one's freaking awesome. But
Would you want to take another shot?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right, yeah.
Keep talking.
Let's just do it, man.
No, keep talking, and I'll
Chantal!
pour it.
Oh my God, Chantal's here!
All Hallows Eve, motherfuckers. Who's Chantal?
Went to college with her.
Chantal is my homegirl from back in undergrad.
How'd she find
and
you? They didn't even tag
Because,
you.
Well, no,
because we were in the same
Yeah,
English
she's my friend,
classes
too.
together.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's
Chantal,
fucking
whose
amazing.
friend are you? Are you Sylvia's friend or are you Superman's friend?
I will
Why
kill
pick?
you.
She'll kill you, but don't pick. You can choose both.
I will
Both is
kill
an
you
option.
and keep your cat.
Both is good.
Both of us.
Both it is. All right, tell us about
All right.
this. Keep going.
I'm in. Who's telling about what?
Yeah,
Both.
if oh, there you go. Yeah, she
Both.
works at a
F.
hookah bar. I've told you about her. Yeah, it's dope. Yeah.
Oh, that Chantal.
Chantal.
She's here.
She's
Just
here.
kidding.
Chantal, you're here for the shots.
Yes.
And Brittany too. Even though she's not responding, Brittany say something.
Brittany and Chantal, get your shot glasses out and take
Yeah.
some shots with us.
Yeah, every time we take a shot, you got to take a shot. So
It's true.
it's like a
not my-
game.
She's like, no, not
Just
my
kidding.
cat.
God, we did an episode where we did shots for shares. We had over 40 shares during our live stream.
Let's do it.
Let's not do
Let's
that.
do it.
That we died.
We will
were
die.
Like, we started like, okay, we're gonna do
Right.
half shots.
Sorry, work.
Yeah.
You're one man
Hey,
short
thank you,
tonight.
Steven. Appreciate it. Hell yeah.
Can't take shots at Vaughn's.
Vaughn's has booze.
I understand.
Just, I believe in you. Do it. All right. Salud. I way overfilled
Yeah.
mine, so
Satanas te cuida.
there's no bias.
It's pink.
I have the
Ranger.
green range.
Fuck yeah, Kimberly.
Tommy.
Holy moly.
I don't drink.
I have a little splash I'm gonna throw in there.
There you go.
So Chantal, you missed the ghost stories, but we're getting into them.
Yes. Also, you can check out, for all of you that don't know, you can check out the audio version Wednesday once it's up, or you can just watch this live stream after I post it.
Hey Sylvia, do you have Facebook or social media?
I have Facebook. My
What is
name
that?
is
Someone look like-
Silvia Lara, Lara, and my
Mistress Lara.
I'm pretty sure you can find my Instagram by the same one, the Silvia Lara,
It's
Yeah.
true.
with an I, not a Y.
And she has a really good eye as a cinematographer. You can check her workout at.
My workout.
You can check your work out
Oh, okay.
at.
The Silvia Lara. That's it on Instagram.
On
That's it.
Instagram.
That's
Boom.
It. Yeah.
She likes to remain anonymous.
She's behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But if you see a pretty movie, could be her. It could be.
Could be.
It's possible.
Probably not, but
it could be.
Yeah.
All right, so is
All
that
right,
it
wait.
for ghost
We were going to
stories?
talk about that. Well, I
Yes.
want to get back to a
Well,
couple, but I wanna
he
hear
keeps
more.
going off of it. Get going.
Oh man, I think that's it for ghost stories for me. But there's this. So there's when I first found out what orbs were,
Yeah.
I
Immediately thought of
actually
your balls.
I saw a UFO, and then the story afterwards like had nothing to do with the paranormal. I was just freaked out after, and I was in the same room. I looked out the window, and I saw like it looked like, you know, the Empire State Building was like long, and there was like lights, and it was like flashing. So it was this tall and long, like an eye-shaped thing, like going like this, like behind this tree.
Mm.
And I was like, fuck that, I'm going back to bed. And I went and laid down, and I opened my eyes, and I saw like a orb like right in front of my eyes, and I closed them. And I was like, no, like I'm just trying to go to sleep. Like I'm so tired. Like fuck this. And I was like, open it, and it was still there. And I was like, I'm just gonna grab it. Like fuck it. And it was like reached out and grabbed it. And it was like when I was a little kid, because I was really young. Me and my sister like shared a room, and she had this bed frame, and like on the post were like these little like metal balls. So it was just that thing. But like I saw it in the night, and I was just like freaked out about the UFO thing. So I thought this like orb in front of me, but it was just like the ball, like on the other thing. I grabbed it and it was solid, and I was like, ah! Like I thought my hand was gonna go right through it, and I was like, oh, it's just this like stupid fucking bedpost. And that's the end of that story. So I'm gonna pee. I'll be back.
You open the
Jesus.
floodgates.
So, going back. Here's the thing, though.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, is that evil laughs?
It was.
Okay, fantastic. So here's the thing. No, it's just I'm trying to figure this out, like harder articulate it in my head where like I can actually describe this and it be okay. So when it's really interesting, but like okay, because I can see both sides. Like yes, I have a portion of my family that's very religious as far as like Christianity goes, and as far as understanding, like their understanding of like the spiritual realm and whatnot.
Yes.
And then the other side of my family, it's very logical, very scientific, and I'm like right dab in the middle as far as like.
Yes.
So I'm gonna try to describe it as best as I can for both sides of the party.
Mm-hmm.
And
Perfect,
I'm gonna
thank you.
try to go ahead and describe that in such a way. Okay, here we go. So if
Let's be friends, bro. So I'm just responding to
Oh, I see.
Steven.
Okay.
Stephen Chang.
We're
so
friends
like
now.
cool. If we talked about like allowing certain things into your life and whatnot, and like what you believe in and whatnot. So there is theories, and this is again going back to like my connection to Mexico and my country and like what people believe in there.
You were born in Mexico?
I was born in Mexico.
Oh my God! It finally did the thing.
What?
It cut out. Well, not cut out, but it lowers it for.
Oh,
So
I
when my
see.
phone dropped right now, you're just like fucking.
Yeah, like it was doing well this entire time. So keep going. Sorry.
I can hear you.
No,
It's just like slightly lower.
Yeah.
I was born in Mexico. My dad brought me here.
It's the ghost, man.
Yeah, the ghost is trying to silence me.
you go.
I don't like that.
Uh,
I don't like that ghost.
My dad brought me here when I was like a year and a half old. He literally like crossed.
in Mexico.
Yeah, born in Mexico.
Born.
My dad crossed the border with me in his arms. Like literally, that's the story.
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
Welcome.
But I'm legally here, so fuck y'all.
Bitches.
Someone call ICE.
Deporter.
Someone call ICE. So.
Hello, check. Boom. We're back. All right, I'm back.
Okay, so where were we?
Your dad literally crossed the border with you in his arms.
So dramatic.
With each step was a breath towards freedom.
But like, okay, so
The sweat
Okay,
was
I'm
dripping
Step
from his
away
brow.
okay.
from
here, this
The
is
babe in his arm,
This is what
crying
happened.
for freedom. to go to El Norte.
This is what happens when you're on a podcast with dudes. You just get like talked over.
It's not like we're talking about our dick. We're just having fun.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm so kidding. Okay.
You go.
So
Speak, please.
yeah, that's fine.
My dick is upset right now.
Your black spiky balls.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking from the spiritual side.
Yes.
Like, just, again, both sides, whatever you want to believe in, that's fine. Talking from the spiritual side. It's really interesting because it's believed, and I'm going to just state it generally, it's believed that certain countries have certain detriments to them as far as, like, the way that evil or Satan or anything like that can come into them and, like, affect them culturally. Have you ever heard of something like this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just said all the magic words.
Like, for example, like, I've heard of stories of, like, you know, and God, this is, like, such a touchy subject because nobody wants to talk about this and
We do.
kind of want to...
Yeah.
No, like, nobody wants to talk about this and kind of feel like you're generalizing an entire country that you have no connection to, no cultural connection to, and are talking about them culturally in a way that you don't understand.
Make
But
them
again,
understand.
let me preface this entire...
Humpcast needs a disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
We're gonna
Let
say
me
whatever.
preface this entire conversation by this is just a generalization by some religious groups as a way that, you know, Satan can affect an entire culture.
Yes.
And one of them is, like, for example, like Japan and shame.
Yes.
And how deep shame is integrated into that country. Like shame for, you know, not accomplishing certain things. Shame for, you know, not bringing pride to your family. Shame
I'm all
for
about shame.
Shame on you. Shame
cetera.
on your family.
Again,
shame on your
hey,
cow.
hey.
90% of my life
Kind
is
of
shame.
disclaimer, I'm not Japanese. I can't speak
What?
to this. What? I can't speak to this. But, like, again, a disclaimer is, like, this is a generalization of what some people believe. Again, trying to protect myself here from, like, hey, this is not necessarily, like, what I'm trying to say, but
It's all good.
again,
We are not judgy.
Mexico is a third world country, and speaking generally about this third world country that I am from is the idea of spiritually what affects the United States is not necessarily what affects third world countries, and the way that you know God, it feels so funny, like, describing it this way if it's not necessarily, like,
It's fine.
a belief, like, I adhere to necessarily.
Don't
but, like, it's
don't
fine.
think about, like, things holding you back.
I know,
Just
but,
let
like,
it go.
if things, like, get clipped, like, oh, this is, like, you know what I mean? So
Just
anyway,
unleash,
not
bro.
that big. It's
Yeah.
fine.
I'm
This
sure
is
it's not. I'm
not
sure
TMZ.
it's not.
Open up that heart and let out that hate, brother.
It's
Oh
not.
my God. So, okay, there's different ways that Satanism or evil or whatnot can affect a certain country based on, like, culturally the way that people believe in it. And one of them is, have you guys noticed, just think about this generally, have you guys noticed how much more spirituality or fucked up stories like this come from third world countries than they do from, like, America?
Yes. And
not, it's a pattern. It's a pattern. It's not just that, you know, oh,
science.
you know, Mexico. How?
It's people rationalizing stuff versus.
I'm just saying, like
That's what I'm
you
saying,
don't
it's
have
like-
like science and stuff like that. You're just like,
You don't have science in Mexico. Just science doesn't exist in Mexico.
well, maybe not as much.
It's
I
called
don't
it's
know.
called L science.
I'm sure there are
This
parts
is what
where
I'm
there's
talking.
no
This
science.
is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Day of the Dead. Ofrenda.
Ofrenda.
What are you saying words now?
Coco.
Coco.
Pan dulce,
Abuelita.
concha.
What I'm saying
Just
is
making
like,
shit up.
Yes, I know.
certain countries. Okay, here we go. I'm so sick of.
I'm
tired
not
of
like saying I
okay.
don't respect it. Like I
I'm
love
not saying
that
you
shit.
don't. I'm not
Like,
saying
I
you don't.
love-
Okay, cutting out all the bullshit, getting right down to it. The way that spiritually you look at it is that third world countries have a certain way of looking at spirituality that we do not here in the
Well,
United
yeah,
States.
American is
Or-
like Christian and like there's no like.
I actually disagree with you, but I understand what you're saying.
What do you mean?
I think that we have our own culture that's just less pop. That's yours.
This way?
Yes.
Okay.
It's less out there. It's not the popular opinion. However, it's there. That's why you get sort of what they call, I mean, not just the show, but American horror stories. We have our own culture and our own thing.
Definitely do.
And our own spirituality. However, we've created a culture of ignorance. And by ignorance, I mean they don't want to think about it. They don't want to talk about it. And they rationalize things with science, which is fine. I do that too. I am on that verge like you were talking about. I very much want to have a logical scientific explanation for everything. Yeah. But I understand that there's things we can't explain. And that's the things I don't like to talk about. So that's what I'm saying.
What I'm getting down to for the last half hour is that certain countries have a way of it's a belief that certain countries have a way.
Chantal, if we take another shot, we're gonna die. Sorry.
Chantal, I love you.
She said, take a shot for me. I'm like, we might die.
We just did.
Yeah. That was for you, Chantal.
In certain countries, there's a belief that the way that you navigate that, like those spiritual situations, it, like in America, it's science. In Mexico, it's definitely spiritual. But the funny thing about it is that, like, there's a certain sect of Christians that believe, and this is like the key word, certain sect of Christians that believe that the reason why third world countries are affected a certain way is because they're affected in a way that they can be affected, that Satan can affect them.
Of course.
Like, for example, like, you know, the whole thing of, like, the idea of, like, oh, you know, Satan only, you know, he his best trick has been, like, what is the phrase?
Like, fooling you that he doesn't exist. So it's like
exactly.
their mindset is, like, more open to, like, spiritual.
Right, because
like,
they
like,
definitely believe
facts.
that. Yeah, exactly. They definitely, like, the whole idea that, you know, Satan's best trick on humanity is tricking us into believing that he does not exist.
Yes.
And certain countries definitely believe that he does exist.
Or a form
and
of
so
him.
because of that, like, they can't be affected in the same way that America can. America can be affected in, like, capitalism, in, like, other ways of evil. But, like, I'm not saying capitalism is necessarily entirely evil, but again, this is a general Christian. I shouldn't say Christian. This is a general belief.
I appreciate you trying to go for the specifics on this.
I'm trying to, like, generalize so it's enough for, like, people to totally understand, but also like specify to
use different terms that it helps you. So I say there's a general idea out there. You don't have to say exactly.
A general idea.
Yeah.
But that third world countries, the reason that why they're affected is because they're not affected by the exact same circumstances as, like, America maybe, or Japan maybe. In Mexico, for example, they're much more open to spirituality and to certain things happening.
Yes.
Because culturally it's different. Culturally, like, for example, I can just, like, tell you, like fucking A, like, so many stories while I was out there of, like, oh, you know, like, a cousin of mine was telling me, like, oh, you know, like, this friend of mine walked into his room and the devil was jumping on his bed. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Explain. Wait, hold on.
I've heard stories in church back when I was a little kid. And
about devils jumping on dead.
He's like, yeah, the devil walked in and started slapping my mom. And I was like, was it the devil, or did you, like,
your dad?
Like, demons, or, like, what exactly happened?
Was it, like, someone and you just, like, this is the devil, like, you know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Like, little.
I've heard that. I've heard stories from, like, people who I've been close to from El Salvador who tell me, like, you know, this person walked into his house and on his hammock, you know, he walked into this empty house, like, that was his own. He walked to the back to hang out, and on his hammock was, like, a demon was, like, swinging back and forth on his hammock and just hanging out there. And he comes and he sees it, and the demon turns to him, and the guy runs out. Like, stuff like that. Like, the reason we're more susceptible to that, again, general belief, general understanding.
Yes.
The reason we're more susceptible to that in, like, third world countries is because we already accept that as, like, that's something that is integrated into our culture to believing. We believe that actually happens. So we can go further into that because of that.
Yeah, well, imagine it's like, that's, like, you know, a possibility for you. It's like, all right, chalk it up to this being a demon. But then, you know, like U.S., like a UFO crashes, they're like, oh, chalk it up this being a weather balloon, or, you know, it's like whatever, like, you guys believe in at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's along those lines. According to a certain
Denominator.
According to a certain sect of Christian beliefs, it's like it depends on. You can't affect the entire world the exact same way through Satan. You have to affect them different ways depending on where they are at that point. And that's all I'm saying.
We as Satanists prove.
I'm not saying I'm not saying I believe in
disprove
this.
that.
I'm explaining this on the podcast as something I have come to understand is some people's beliefs is that it depends on what country you are, where you are in your.
I think I get what you're trying to say. It's if the devil's gonna come, it's gonna find your specific weaknesses that
exactly,
are
exactly. It's gonna cater to your specific weaknesses, and it's gonna cater to your specific beliefs, and the way that you would actually be afraid of it in wherever you are at that point.
Yes.
And again, God, I hate that I have. It's so fucking exhausting to keep saying that, but it's like this is based on certain beliefs, certain people. That's the way that it goes, and whatever way you believe in it, I respect you, and you are entitled to that.
Mexico,
U.S., Japan, whatever it may be.
All of you. We have some Netherlands people that are listening to this podcast too, so good. A lot of people. Great.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like Mexico, here's a lot about fucking witches.
Yes.
There's a lot about fucking Satan. There's a lot about fucking brujeria.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's not fucking uncommon in Mexico.
Yeah.
If like a woman is jealous of another woman, that she does she goes to like a certain type of specialist. She goes to a specialist, seeks out help, then finds out like, oh, all I have to do is like, find like my own hair bundled in like a fag of sticks and put it at her doorstep.
Fag?
Yes, that's a word.
And put it
Fag
at
of
her.
sticks?
Yeah.
That's the appropriate.
That's right. No,
that
I
is
remember
the
looking up.
appropriate use of
It was like
fag.
a bundle of sticks.
You
like
were Googling
originally,
fag
right?
one day.
No, yeah, I
and
did.
YouPorn.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, where are all the dicks at? What's all this stick bullshit? Anyways.
So like that's not uncommon in Mexico at all. Like, oh my God, this woman got this man before me, or she like took him off me or whatever. Like, I'm gonna curse her. I'm gonna go to a bruja and curse her in some way or do something to her. That's very much a very common thing. It's very common in Mexico. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The devil believes in me. That makes me feel like a lot better about myself.
It's true.
At least someone does.
It's kind of like that, Steven. Yeah. And in the comments, he's saying, is this like when I say I don't believe in the devil, but someone says, but the devil believes in you? That's
Thanks.
actually very true.
Yeah.
As far as
Will you be my
the
dad?
possibility of it.
Anyway.
Yes. We do have to move forward, you guys. Anything else
let's go.
you want to go with that? Did you even talk about the worst of us?
Oh shit! Is it?
Sylvia's gonna present it right now.
Is it metal time?
It is metal time, you guys.
Go behind the TV. Don't. Just
yeah.
no. There you go.
Bingo, bango. We got our very own Vanna White right here.
Speaking about Satan and fucking zombies and all kinds of shit.
Roland, you want to let us know what the fuck's this about? What is it?
This is my band. We're called Zombie Eating Horse. Is it a zombie eating a horse, or is it a zombie eating horse?
Can I please clarify for everybody who's so fucking confused from the first half hour? Zombie eating horse.
Yeah, not whores. A lot of people think whores. That must have hurt your ears. We
Hurt my ears.
apologize.
It's all good.
So yeah, I have this band that it's part of my high school band. I used to be in this band called Stealth, and that was like my first band ever that, you know, really did well, at least high school standards. And, you know, we all branched off. I joined this band called Antagonist, and, you know, they did this other thing, Zombie Eating Horse, half of like my high school band.
Yes.
I ended up
It's
joining.
all like Whittier based.
Yeah, we're all from Whittier. That's our hometown. There's a lot of rad groups that have come out of Whittier, man. There's the Dares, there's Plague Vendor, there's Some
Hell
of
yeah.
Suicide Silence, our drummer homie Alex Lopez. Dude, there's a lot of dope bands that have come out of Whittier.
We can tag them.
Cool.
We're putting Whittier on the map, man. Like, there's
Nice.
Whittier's the shit.
Whittier's
For
got-
anybody who doesn't understand it
Whittier,
yet,
California.
you will.
I
Whittier's
mean,
amazing.
Some of it's the shit.
No,
There's a lot of like.
Whittier's a shit.
There's a lot of actual shit.
Can you tag Whittier? Just a whole city.
Let's tag straight up Whittier.
Hashtag.
You're getting a phone call.
I don't know who that is, so fuck you.
Fuck it.
Actually, I think that was my sister. Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding.
Throw it away. Just throw it. Throw it away.
There we go.
Sweet.
Phone broke apart. It starts ringing again. It's the fucking devil, man.
You know, it's the ghosts. It's the devil. It's demons.
Yeah, so I joined this band, I don't know, maybe like 3 years ago, and their first album, I was featured on it. I did a guest guitar solo.
Yeah.
That was about it. And I wasn't even in the band when I did that, and they just were like, all right, you're in the band now, and they put me on the CD.
Yeah.
But this one I wrote like at least half or more are like my songs, and that's what I'm stoked about. It's like, I got a lot of input into recording this. I got to be like make suggestions to the drummer, like, what if you did like this gnarly like drum fill? And he's like, yeah, and we did it, and like, dude, that sounds awesome, like, thanks. And like I was like at the fucking helm, and they would just let me like take over it, and it was like rad for the most part. Like sometimes they'd be like no, and I'd be like please, and they'd be like no. It's like but yeah, it's pretty rad, and it's my first album with them. It's called The Worst of Us by Zombie Eating Horse.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 songs up on YouTube right now. There's Hole to Hole and Z-Rex.
And it's so fucking good.
Z-Rex was released as a single already. Hole to Hole was just more recently released as a single. It features our friend Edgar from this band, Blood from Our Brothers, for our brothers that we play with a lot. And you could play it if you want, or I could go on about the album.
I was gonna say I'll play it at the end.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
So
Which one would you want to hear?
So Z-Rex is a little shorter, and it's just like straight to the point.
Which one's better?
Hole to Hole is just like straight
Which one's
heavy.
better.
Like so in deathcore, there's like a lot of ridiculous like we're gonna hold this note like and just do like the whole same thing. And so I was like, all right, we don't have a song like that, so I'm gonna do one where we're just holding this fucking note and just like grooving on
The
it
whole
for a little
note?
bit. Yeah, it's basically like it's like really dissonant. It's like 2 notes that shouldn't go together, so it's just like like sounds weird. And it's like one, and one's like a half step above or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the scientifics of it, if I could get into it, but this song, it's just brutal, and it's like relentless, and it's just like it's just like your ears don't want to hear it, but we're making you hear it, and it's just like it goes on for a long time, and you're just like fuck. So you're either down or you're not. But
Either
yeah.
down or you're not.
yeah.
But
and
if you're from Whittier, you will be.
Yes.
if you're from Whittier, you will be, because probably not.
Boom. All right. Let's see. We've actually been going for about an hour and 40 minutes right now.
I think the drinks are kicking in.
I agree.
I'm
Silvia's having a good time. I'm gonna go ahead, and if you want, I would play the song. We could end it on that note.
yeah, we're gonna listen to some fucking deathcore
Oh,
right now.
fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah,
Or
dude.
just metal.
All right. Which
I-
one do you
I
want
still-
to end on?
Let's do Hole to Hole.
We're going to hold the hole. We want to thank our guests,
yeah.
of course. Thank you so much for coming, Silvia. Fuck yeah. Boom. Roland. Boom. You guys. Boom.
Ah, boo.
That was a boo boo.
How come he got like
Yeah, come on. But make it better. There it is. All right, we're going to close out on Zombie Eating Horrors, Hold the Hole. Thank you so much for listening and watching, of course. We're going to get some water in these guys right now. My name is Garrett Lee, and thank you again for listening to Humpcast. You can follow us everywhere at Humpcast. Myself, personally, at Garrett_AM Lee. Where can they find you? Roland,
Are we done?
if you want.
All right. Well,
Or we can take a break, and then we can come back.
Yeah, let's take a break and come back, because
Cool. We got
'cause
more to talk about.
I got a little Halloween song for your fucking toddlers.
That's
and
true.
shit.
We're gonna take.
For
We're
your
gonna.
toddlers.
We're gonna play the
Yeah.
song, take a pause, break, and we're gonna come
We're
back.
gonna take a shot break.
Yeah, I don't know
Just
about
kidding.
that for
No.
you guys. I'm gonna play this song though. Sounds good.
Okay, cool. I'm going to go post this on.
That sounds good. And we're back. Wow. All right. Huh? Who would have known? I don't know. Here we go. Pause. Why are you doing this? Make it stop.
Hello.
I don't want to hear from you. Got a little crazy going there. That was a cool song, though. I like that. That was really cool. He showed that to me a little bit earlier, too. You can pick up... Where can they find the CD for you?
You got it on Spotify. You got it on iTunes, Amazon. Basically, our distributor just put it out everywhere. So there's sites I never even heard of that have it.
Nice. All right, cool.
We don't even know if they're making money off of it.
Yeah, I was showing her the other day. I was like, look, they're selling like the songs individually for like $2.50 a pop.
Maybe.
It's like,
Maybe.
Maybe they're bootlegged.
yeah.
But get it anyway.
All right, I brought this to help everyone. This is caffeine, you guys. So we're going to help sober us up a little bit better.
Lovely.
Cool. Oh, you like pink, right?
I love
Me?
pink.
Oh.
Pink is my favorite color.
And then you like blue.
I love blue.
I love green, but I left it over there, so I'll go fuck myself.
We
I got
should
some.
let's try that coffee brew out.
The coffee one?
Yeah, you can
Get
just
it.
dump it after if you want. I don't even know if it's any good.
What are you
Ha-
talking about?
The
Oh,
ha-
that's right, the
hazel,
hazelnut. Yes.
brown hazel.
I'm gonna split this up and then I'll pour that and then.
I'm good
for
on
you.
that. I'm good on caffeine.
You good?
Yeah.
All
I'm
right. You want some?
I'm
Whoever
already
is
naturally,
listening,
like,
I want to hear about your favorite beers because I would like to know about more.
Yeah,
please.
absolutely. I think we just got Steven right now on the
Love
live.
it.
But Steven,
Fuck yeah, Steven.
what's your favorite beer, Steven? I really want to know.
Beer.
Because okay, so right now we have a fan of the show and friend of the show, Jeremy Northwood. He is brewing us some special custom beers right now. And it's really cool because my favorites are Belgians. Do you have a favorite beer? Either of you have a favorite beer?
My titty.
I love Belgian beers. They're amazing, you guys.
My favorite.
I know
beer
you like
are-
reds, right?
I like Belgians. I like reds. I like light beers. I do. The only thing I don't like is IPAs.
Current favorite beer, honestly, is Victoria, the Mexican lager. It's super light. I throw
Oh,
like
wow,
a
okay.
lime in there, and it's light. I could start my car and drive fine. But last year I was like an IPA like addict. Like it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah.
Okay, so
I
so
was- I
how
was
did you
smashed.
switch all the way from an IPA back down to a lager? Like you're just like, I don't want these anymore.
I think sometime in December I smashed a whole like 12-pack or whatever it was of like the Enjoy by like IPAs.
Yeah.
And it's like the IPAs, they're heavy and they're fucking gnarly, and like I just like smash that shit so easily, and it was like an easy drink for me. So I killed like the whole 12-pack, and I was just like hammered, and I was just like, I think this is around the point like people like take a break, and so I was like, all right, I'm gonna take a break, and then so I took a break, and ever since I got back, I noticed just like how heavy IPAs are,
Mm-hmm.
and I just enjoy like lighter beers more now because it's like I can have one and I could go about my day. Whereas like an IPA, like I have one and I feel like, like I'm carrying like two people for like the rest of the day. It's just like,
Oh, I feel you.
yeah, they're just like a lot heavier, and like if you just want to like drink and enjoy it, like lighter beers, you could like do that, but IPAs, like you start feeling it right away. It's more filling, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're a lot stronger too.
But I mean, I learned a lot about IPAs during that time. I know a lot of good ones. One of my favorites was the Stone Enjoy by.
Mm-hmm.
That one was really good. I really like unfiltered IPAs.
Yeah, same, dude. I love the unfiltered, hazy, juicy IPAs.
Yeah,
Those are better because
actually-
they're not as. For me, they're not as harsh. They're not as like too much to handle. I like them too.
Ballast Point has the Sculpin, but by itself, it's an alright IPA. But if you get the unfiltered Sculpin, holy shit, it's like so juicy and like it's amazing. And I could do a whole 6-pack to myself. Or I could.
Yeah.
Like I took a
Juicy.
7-month break, and like now just
Yeah.
yeah, now I like Mexican lagers. Like I throw like a lime in there and it's like refreshing. I could have one and be like, all right, cool. Like I don't need to go fucking what's his name? Connor. What's
Conor
Hulk's?
McGregor? What? Wait, what are you talking about?
No, what's Hulk's the Hulk
Bruce
Bruce
Banner.
Bruce
and
Banner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you go all Bruce Banner like just Hulk out like. Yeah. Well, I had a lot of friends that like to rage like super hard.
Yeah.
And so I was around them, so I was like, all right, like that's gonna be my thing. And then like I did it, and then like I wouldn't hang out with them, and I'd be around other people, and I'm just like rager like nonstop. I'm just like, I think I'm scaring some people. Like, if you don't understand like the rage, then so I was like, all right. So I had to find a balance to the beast, and I think I did.
Nice. It's a good job too.
Yeah, it's cool because I like to enjoy beer, and now I know how to responsibly, which is important. Like, you don't want to get a DUI.
No, true. Definitely don't do that.
They're not fun.
No. Take that from, I guess you said you got one too. I take that from both of our experiences.
I have two.
I have one, but the one was the worst one. It was the worst one I could probably do.
Yeah,
I have none, but I can exchange that for being harassed by police, which is probably just as bad.
Yeah,
or harassing police when she's drunk. She's like,
you
no,
harassing?
I wasn't harassing
Officer.
Officer.
Is that what you
I've
do?
literally been pulled over and they've been like sexually harassing, like pulling over. So like,
Yeah. No, I hear like a lot of my female friends tell me that too.
fucking sucks.
Do you have a tale that you want to talk about?
You know what's dope?
What's
is like
dope?
if you have old business cards, so you can just hand them over to them and walk away, and then like.
Oh yeah, because you said
like
one of them
that
asked you
phone
for your number, right?
yeah, it's smart. Like,
Two of them, but one of them I had old business cards for.
But if they try them right there, just peel out, just like.
Bye. Like, I gotta go now.
So
That's my office. So you did a Halloween song for, right?
Halloween.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I wear multiple hats. So yeah, my brother had a son, my older brother, and
Congrats to your brother.
Yeah, man. Congrats to him.
Woo! Cheers.
He's a great man. What do you have in there?
I put the monster and the rest of the punch in
You
there.
have monster in there?
Yeah. So
Did you put monster in mine?
I poured in yours.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
So I've written. This is the second song I've written for them. The first one was about trains.
So fucking cute.
Yeah, the first one was about trains. It was like real instruments. I did like rock and roll guitar, and it's like Rock and Roll Train was the song. It's Asher's Day, YouTube. The second one, they asked me to do a Halloween song, and I didn't want to like do the whole guitar thing again. So I want to do more of like a Nine Inch Nails approach.
Yeah.
And like, program some weird like freaky sounds and like a drum beat. And so that's what I did for this one. And I tried to, she had shown me the Baby Shark song, and it's like
Baby Shark,
super basic.
If you don't
like,
know Baby Shark, you literally should.
Hold on, tell us how does it sound?
Baby Shark, boop 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 doop boop, Baby Shark, doo 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 doo, Baby Shark, doo 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 doo, Baby Shark. Mama Shark.
Yeah.
And it comes with a dance, so like it doesn't do you justice if you're watching this.
The dance makes a song.
Yeah,
we
the
didn't come
dance
up with a
makes
dance
it.
for this one.
It's
It was kind of
fucking
like rushed out because it was last minute. I'm busy with work and like my other bands and stuff, and like these guys wanted a song, so I shouted out real quick, and like we got this, which is pretty cool. But
We'll do a quick sample of it right now.
Yeah, we didn't get to do a dance for it, but
You should come up with your own dance for it.
yeah, send us some. That's not it.
Why is this not YouTube? Why are you fucking up?
There you go.
Oh, that's why. It's still going. Turn that off. Boom.
Yeah, I programmed it.
Now it's time to go trick or treat. Halloween, 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 Ghost, boo, Dracula.
I can imagine like being so high on Molly, like
Do it. So if you have kids or you have Molly or both, listen to this song.
Yeah,
but
just
probably
on
not at the
repeat.
same time. We don't want your kids taken away
Yeah,
from you, please.
do not do it at the same time.
That's fucking terrible.
I feel like that's what kid songs do though. Like that's why Baby Shark like caught on. So many people were like,
Baby Shark is the shit.
"This shit's amazing."
Baby Shark is the shit.
ghost, boom, Dracula. Ha ha ha. Werewolf howling. That could be the Dracula. Dracula.
It's time to go trick or treat.
Dude, this
Dude.
clown is my favorite. Like, look at his moves. Like, he spins. Like, it's fucking hilarious.
Boom. So check out this video. Of course, you can find it on YouTube. Asher's Day.
Fucking
Yeah.
A, dude.
Asher's my nephew. He's hilarious. He's hard to work with when it comes to trying to do some green screen stuff.
Do not try and hire him for an actor.
No, please hire him. But he's a little toddler still, so he's learning.
I hear you, man.
But
But
yeah,
we're
no,
not
he's,
toddlers.
Yeah,
We're pretty bad.
he's a little brat. Yeah, actually, it's funny. The end of the video, because she
Dracula.
yeah, see, she knows the lyrics already. It's catchy.
I feel like she's your number one fan right now.
I know. She probably is.
Ghost
She's
boobs.
Ghost likes boobs. So we shot the music video and his mom dressed him up as a cop, and then after he was a firefighter, and
Narc.
Narc. He's gonna be Narc. You let Uncle down.
I kicked his ass so hard.
Boo.
Yeah. Boo. Goes boo. Goes boo.
Ghost goes boo.
So the second half, she dressed him up as a fireman, and he wouldn't like wear the hat for the life of him. It was a fireman hat, and he kept just throwing it
So
off.
fuck this hat.
I'd
Yeah.
fucking understand.
Yeah, but anywho, at the very end of the video, I put the hat on him, and he like flops it off, and it looks like really cute, like it's supposed to be. But that was just him being a brat, and it just like worked out. At the end of the video, it looks like, and the song ends. But yeah, he wouldn't wear the hat.
Aw, boo. Ghost
Yeah.
goes boo on that.
Ghost
Ghost goes
yeah.
boo.
Dracula.
Blah. All right, guys. Anything else that you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, man. There's one thing I really want to hear about.
Yes.
Like I really want to hear about your best Halloween ever, and I want us all to talk about it. And I want whoever's listening to tell us. Hit
Best
us up.
Halloween.
I want to hear about what your best Halloween was and why. Why was it your best Halloween that you remember?
That's a good question.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Oh, fuck, it's going to take me a little bit of
You know why
time.
it's good? Because it's fun.
It is fun. I
It's
agree with
fun.
you.
I want to hear about all of you, like, what, and I'm really curious about, like, about what age you are, because I want to know about, like, the idea of, like, Halloween when you were a kid and, like, when it was your favorite memory, like, why it was that way.
You know what's funny is that I would say that my best Halloweens were after. Well, the best ones I can remember are after I was like 10 or 12 years old. Like after that, literally everything else was more fun because as a kid, it's pretty much all the same. It's you get dressed up, you go out and you go get your candy. You know what I mean? Like it's not really very different. Great, sure, but not very different. I would say for me, I was probably 14. This is the one that I remember.
Tell us about it.
Okay, so this remember I was 14 and I had already moved to El Monte and I had made new friends and all this stuff, but we got invited to a party that had a cool like haunted house attached to it. So the party was inside, but the haunted house was for the public outside. And they had this really cool long driveway that they just put up their own sort of maze. It was really cool. Like
I've seen those.
so you
Those
put
are
up like
fucking
the
dope.
metal like tents,
Hell
yeah, like
yeah.
little tent type things. But it was like you would have to navigate in and out, and it was a long driveway.
Right.
And then you'd get to the end and you'd come out.
Awesome. They
But
just went hard.
they went hard, and it was scary as fuck. And it was like a bunch of my friends too from school, and I was like, I remember all of that too. It was really cool, and going through this like it was very innovative sort of maze going through that, and then of course we just had a fun party after that. That was my favorite. All the other
Your
ones,
friends put it together?
yeah, my friends, like from what 14? That's like middle school, I guess.
Yeah.
It's right before high school. Like,
Yeah.
right before high
That's
school.
rad.
Yeah, and that was cool because where we went, it was interesting. I went to an elementary school that then you all went to middle school with another group of schools. then you diverted again to different high schools. So it was weird because you would like.
Wait, what?
It was the weirdest thing. So
It's
where
just like real life.
where I lived, like okay, so I moved to El Monte when I was 11. So I went to an elementary school for 6th grade. After 6th grade, those people all went to the same middle school, but with like kids from 2 or 3 other middle schools or elementary schools, and so you came together.
Weird.
But then after you
Okay.
graduated, so from 6th grade, I moved there 7th and 8th grade. After 8th grade, you went to high school, but you all went to different high schools, and that was the weird, depending on where you lived. I lived in that sort of middle area where you just kept having new people come in and out of your life, and it was kind of weird. But I remember being like a preteen, and that was
Weird.
what I remember.
I mean, that's kind of great because you get to meet like a lot of boys and girls.
Yeah, I got to meet a lot of boys.
Yeah,
it was really
that must have
fucking
been
cool.
I
great
got
for
to
you,
meet
man.
I was
a lot of
like-
boys.
So many boys.
boys.
Nah.
Dude,
How about you? Do you remember Halloween that stuck out in your brain? I'd love to hear this.
Let me tell you.
Let me tell you.
I don't even remember what I did last Halloween.
That's probably a good fucking Halloween.
Wait,
Okay,
Well, the Misfits
I
played
remember-
last-
Well, for me, like I was in a relationship last Halloween, so it's like different than single Halloweens.
Yeah, I do. Okay. I was probably like 13,
Uh huh.
and
You're talking to the mic a little bit there.
Hola.
Hola,
I was
¿cómo
probably
estás?
when I was 13, I was growing up in Whittier. That would mean, dude, Whittier's awesome.
What's Whittier?
You guys are repping
What's
Whittier,
Whittier
so
for
hard.
the
with you.
viewers
hard,
that
Whittier.
don't know?
Well, Whittier's. I mean,
Okay, all right.
I've
but
only been to Whittier because I went to Rio Hondo. In all
exactly. So
honesty.
you didn't experience it when I was in your high. So both of you, and there is this what's it called? The country
Country Crock.
country
Whittier
club?
Country Cook-Off.
No.
Oh, okay.
Are we just making things up?
Fuck. With the country club.
Whittier.
Was there an O, or is there
Fucking
no?
A, I can't believe I can't remember the country
The
club name.
country
I don't
Cook-Off.
think the name. Does the name matter
It
for the
matters.
stories?
It matters for the story so hard.
All right. Well,
All right,
nice.
so cooler story.
Candlewood.
Well,
Candlewood Country
Candlewood.
Club. Okay.
Ooh.
So I remember the Candlewood Country Club,
Nice.
and I remember that all of our friends hung out in like the outskirts of it, because the thing is like the main country club had its area, like, you know, where you shoot or whatever, like the little like areas for
Shoot.
golfers or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that type, but you know.
Oh.
You mean
maybe
the
that's
golf
it.
course, the
Maybe
kick it
that's it.
spot.
Oh,
The
Exactly.
spot.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Are you talking about the spot?
So anyway, so it was like this little like outskirt area, so that was where we would hang out mainly. But then there was like other little areas within there that like nobody else knew about, which is pretty fucking cool, because it was like our own space away from adults and supervision and whatnot in the time that, you know, you're like growing up and experimenting and whatnot. So it was fucking rad. Stop. I can already see like your eyes like, I'm gonna say some
That's
shit.
funny.
Okay, I have a
Stop.
question. I have a question. How
no
long have you?
questions allowed.
How long have you known each other?
No questions allowed.
High school.
Over 10 years. Over 10 years.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, you guys have a very intricate relationship as far as how it goes. Like
Well,
you guys.
we're-
I knew you were like literally my friends. We have this thing that you can just sort of make them face and they're like, shut the fuck up. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
don't speak of this.
Yeah. No. If Ryan were here, we do the same thing all the
Yeah.
time. He starts telling a story. I'm like,
As I was saying,
I'll
my
make us-
favorite Halloween was that one where it was around that time. And just friends of ours, like there was a kids treehouse
of horrors.
type of thing. Not horrors.
Can
but
you
I
talk
guess
into the
Halloween.
microphone, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry.
You can move the microphone. That's all. I think
So not
Silvia's
that one.
at this level. I think she's at Orson Welles
No,
level.
She's right here. She's like,
It's me, bitches.
I did notice that she opened up a little bit better. That's cool.
Yeah. Opened up a little bit. Explosion heavy. That's a little bit.
You guys ready to finish the story or
She
what?
opened up a little bit.
It's
like Law and
What
Order.
we're talking
Dun,
about
dun.
because you guys have been talking.
So you're at this golf course
No, yeah, it was
doing.
like one of like the best like Halloweens ever, and like
She was with-
there was a tree house at this like golf course, and it was like, I guess it's maybe like
Was it
where
a
the
makeout
golfers.
treehouse?
I have no idea, like because there was a lot of like children's stuff in there, so who knows if like
She gave me.
Who knows what they were making out with?
And then I gave her some. I do. Yeah.
But
What?
I mean, it was just a fun Halloween. We hung out and we went to this one area where we'd hang out.
This one area.
Bitch, what the fuck?
Tell us.
And then we would hang out at that one treehouse, and that was a dope Halloween. And it was like the cusp between being a child and entering adulthood. That's funny because like, you don't enter adulthood when you're a teen. You enter into the arena.
How do you enter adulthood?
You enter in the arena
actually-
of adulthood,
Yeah.
but then as you get to the center is when you reach adulthood, and some of us never do.
What's
Uh-huh.
at the center of adulthood?
Message.
How many licks does
All
it take
y'all.
to get to the center of adulthood?
There we go. I like that one.
How many licks?
Tres.
Tres. Wow. All right. I don't even know what to go with that. Sounds good. 3 licks to the center of adulthood, you guys.
Now we just need to find out what tres is.
What is it? I believe it's 3. All right. Any more for that?
Oh shit! I'm backlit. This is nice.
This is good, right? Because you have the sun coming from the window. You're glowing right now.
Yeah.
You also kind of look like someone from Kiss, like a cat. You kind of look like a cat on the screen, at least. Very good.
Actually, when I was younger, I took a girl on a date to this spot that she's talking about. That like all her friends
so you do
used
know
to
the
hang
spot.
out at.
Okay.
Yeah, and she got really mad at me for it.
Why? Because it's known for being a specific spot where you lose your adulthood after 3 licks.
No, it's just like it's a spot like where like bunch of our friends would go and hang out, and it was like we were like high school kids, so it's like we could like have beers there and like whatever, blah blah blah, and it was cool and it was fun, but right next to where the area was, there's usually like this big carnival like on certain like parts of the month or whatever, and so this thing was going on, so I was supposed to take this one friend there. And I was like, oh, I think all my other friends are here. Let's like stop by here first. And I was like, okay. And I did that, and we ended up staying there like all night and never went to the carnival.
Mm-hmm.
And it just like, yeah, it turned out to be a big no-no. But yeah, those were good times, man.
Nice. All right, so those are your most memorable Halloweens. Halloween.
My most memorable Halloweens have definitely been in Whittier.
No, you know what? Some of my most memorable Halloweens have been was at the Parker Mansion when.
There's a Parker Mansion.
So
Peter Parker?
No, two of my friends, Josh Ontiveros and John Parker, they're actually both in Zombie Eating Horse.
I would call
They're
him
in my-
Onti.
Ontiveros. Yeah, they're in my high school.
That
band
was way too
still.
loud. Sorry.
No, they used to throw these Halloween parties every year, and
Uh-huh.
there'd be like Kegger Ragers, and just like there would be like weed cake, and just like everything you could think of.
Huh?
Someone knocked
No,
there?
someone in the restroom.
No, that was a ghost.
But no, dude, they had some of the best parties, and like anyone that's our homies from Whittier can tell you like how fun they were, and we always looked forward to these parties, and just like a bunch of blasphemy, and just like good times, like sneaking off to this room to do this, and like everyone was just like raging. There was like weed cake and like
Weed cake?
A whole cake of it? That's
yeah.
That's
I have
a lot.
question.
And it's funny
No,
because-
I have
So
a
how-
question because this matters. Is
Yes.
it like Halloween cake where like the
Halloween cake. I
Hold
like that.
on, where the weed is in the cake, or is it Halloween cake where the weed is diluted and into the butter?
I think for the most part that's how you have to make it.
Which one?
You cook it in the butter,
Ooh,
and then that
good
extracts like all that
answer.
shit.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I
good
don't, thi- I don't,
answer.
I don't think if you ground that
Have
shit
you ever
up
made
into a cake.
I think
don't
that's the type of answer you only can get if like you actually have done it or seen it.
I would have answered the same way,
Yeah.
but I want to know if you've ever done it.
Yeah, So they're like, this is weed cake, and I was like, all right. And I'm all
Depends
drunk,
on
and
when this is aired
I took the
and if
biggest
this is
bite of
legal
my
or
life.
not.
It is aired now, which is legal.
Yes.
I took
Yes.
I took this giant bite of weed cake, and I was like, I'm drunk. This is fine.
Mhm.
And then it was just like the gnarliest night ever. Like I was just like I was just trying to come back down to earth. Like this shit was so strong.
Are we gonna ignore that?
And then-
Or
Yep.
Are we gonna?
No, we're gonna
Oh,
ignore.
okay.
We're gonna ignore it.
Okay.
We're ignoring it.
I did it another time. They had weed cake again, and I was like, am I gonna learn from the last time? Like, nah. And I ate it, and I just remember just sitting there like super high, like in the game room, and like everyone's like passed out drunk. My friends right there like rocking back and forth, just like just super fucked up, and I'm just
Like
like
a zombie.
I ate this weed
Wait,
cake.
was the
and-
zombie eating a horse?
I don't know what he was. He's just like he's the beast with 10 backs that night.
With 10 bags?
Yeah, he's like
What does that mean?
whatever
All
you want
right.
it to mean, man.
Wait, can we see if any of our the listeners have talked about like their favorite Halloween?
No, they're not talking right now. They're pretty bunny. I don't know what that means. Light blue at the top of Silvia's. What?
What?
What? I don't even know what these comments mean right now.
Blue at the top of Sylvia's.
No, what some weird shit.
Nothing says nipples out, so I'm okay.
If you are listening right now, which I know a few of you are,
Your nipples
we-
out.
we-
Let us know.
we're gonna look. We're gonna take a quick look, and we see one nipple, and it doesn't belong to Silvia. Sorry, guys.
Or does it? No,
This is my
no,
favorite.
it doesn't.
I will be honest. This is my favorite drop because it just emphasizes anything you say or do.
Every time like the silhouette pops out in the background.
Yeah, no, pretty much like.
What is that? I thought it was just the three of us here.
And then Humpcastro in his Muerte Eater costume.
What do you do it?
But then you also have ready. Wait for it. And
Wait.
wait. And
What? Oh, I'm strumming your brow. Sorry.
I was gonna fist you there.
One.
1, 2, 3.
All right, one last.
What?
Wait, here we go.
What are we doing? We're doing Instagram.
One last Snapchat. Another one. No.
They can't hear what we're hearing, by the
Okay,
way.
well you can hear what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Ready? One last.
We're doing Instagram. Sorry.
One last Humpcast.
I love it because she hears it in her headphones, but they have no idea what
They have
we're
no
listening.
idea.
It
But
looks like he's shredding.
I will edit that.
But no, add it on for sure. I'll send you the fucking clip. It's hilarious. All right, cool. I love this thing. All right, shit. We are running long, dude. We're already at 2 hours and
But
11
this
minutes.
is so fun. and
No,
you
I'm
guys
having a
are
lot of
so
fun.
Yeah, let's break out some more beer.
I'm down. We have the
You
next
guys are so
beer.
fun.
The next beer was actually
Yeah.
donated and dropped in because I'll grab it if you want. You want to tell them what it is while I grab it? Go.
Yeah, so the beer I was looking for is actually by Garage Brewery. They have this mango Hefeweizen right now. If you could find it, it's freaking amazing. If you're at a bar, it'll be a wrench as the bar tap, and ask if it's the mango Hefeweizen because it's freaking bomb. If you've had the tart mango cart by Golden Road, this one is way better. There's more alcohol, just more everything, like more mango. It's bomb.
But where can we find
But-
you online though?
Me online. Is that what we're talking about? Me?
Sure.
You don't want to find me, but you can find my bands: Antagonist, Metal, at SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Zombie Eating Horse is Facebook, MySpace, Friendster. I'm going backwards. Wait, how does
We got a Zanga.
do you remember what?
I got a Zanga where you can find the
What
link.
was the first social media site you had?
Zanga.
Roland has a nice tattoo.
What was the
I
first
have
social
many
media?
nice tattoos.
Zanga.
First.
Zanga.
No.
Do you remember
Probably
Zanga?
just one. Everything
No,
else
it's
sucks.
Zanga
probably
was
in
all about
Mexico.
blogs. It was blogs. You had a
That's
feed. That
probably
was
in
it.
Mexico.
It was Zanga was 2000 and well for me, I started using it in 2011 or 12, and it was literally just like blogs. So you would put a post. So imagine your status updates, and that's all you had was just some blog post. You're like, this is my blog post, and you would complain about life because you were 12 years old. Blah blah blah.
I never got to that.
No,
I was like,
okay.
I started on Friendster.
Friendster. I had a Friendster, but that was after
I had an IM account when I was 10.
What's an IM account?
Instant Messenger, like
that doesn't.
MSN.
I think of that as
MSN is social media
Okay,
because
then
you got into
AIM.
chats.
You got AIM?
Yeah.
AOL, yeah. So I had that.
No, I had MSN Messenger, and then I had AIM, and then some friends and I created a
Zanga still exists.
Angel Fire.
Dude,
You guys remember that?
When I was
do.
a little kid, me and my friend would go on adult chat rooms and have cyber sex with all these older ladies, and we were like 9 and 10, just
we're getting down. with
big
the
hard balls come out and slap your
nitty-gritty.
face.
Nitty gritty.
Yeah, and it's like
I did not do that, but I
And then,
understand.
Here we go. I got my MySpace going right now. Let's see if I can actually log in. Because what's the funny thing?
You have a MySpace?
Yeah, the funny thing is I can do it with Facebook.
I deleted mine, and my friend got super.
They're
mad
like,
at
do you
me.
want to log in with Facebook? I'm like,
No
yeah, because I don't remember
way.
my fucking password.
No, my friend, in my band that I grew up with, I told him I deleted my MySpace, and he got super mad because I guess he had
Why?
pictures on there too.
Well, he should have
Yeah, and I was like, sorry, bro.
downloaded them.
Yeah, dude. Sorry,
I
dude.
don't want to hang on to the past, man.
Oh, okay, so MySpace fucking
I want to
kind of
create a
broken.
new past that I look down upon.
No, I don't think I can log in. It's not working for me. Fuck it, I'll do it. I have been able to do it, and you could pull up your old pictures, which is kind of weird. You can see yourself as a little 11-year-old.
Yeah, there's some of me up there still somewhere, man. Pretty goofy looking.
Yeah. All right, do that.
Can I plug this show that I have coming up?
Yes, you may.
All right.
Go for it.
If you're in the Whittier, Santa Fe Springs area sometime next week, around, say, Saturday, November 3rd, there's at this VFW hall where the beers and drinks are very cheap, and it's a very secluded area where,
Boom.
Hey, who's that? Who's this?
That's 11-year-old
this
me.
This-
little scene king.
Yeah, 11-year-old me right here.
11 teen? Holy moly.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't have dates on it. Does
You
it
look
look
like a full-grown man at 11.
No, it's at 11. I was like, we're like, you're tall, and then now that I'm an adult, I'm like, I'm not. I stopped growing at 12. But look at this. Look at me. The him shirt right there.
That was kind of like the dude I went
you
to
go,
school with.
Uh-huh.
Kind of.
In Mexico?
No, here.
Him?
Yeah.
This is me as an agent from
him.
from the Matrix.
Oh, actual him.
This guy.
Hey, Silvia,
Oh,
Lara.
no. Actually, you know what? When I met her, I just got out of jail.
Bottle opener, por favor.
Here, give it to me. Oh, it's this.
Oh, shit. Wait, hold on.
All right.
Wait,
We're
let's
using my special
We're about
powers.
to plug this.
No. What?
I need one of those.
Wait, do the thing you did though. He did it once without any metal. Here you go.
Me?
Wait, yeah.
I was like, what do you do?
Didn't you do the thing with your fucking arm?
Oh, but
the
the-
twist off, you could do
Yeah,
that.
you can do that with the twist offs. Not these. That'll tear your shit up.
I can do it with
Let's
my
try this
All right,
out.
so this-
mouth.
Are
I
these-
can do
this
it with
and
my
this.
teeth, yo.
I would love to see that. I have some beers in the
Yeah.
fridge.
I've done that with my. I'm not.
Oh wait, is that
never-
why you're
Here,
missing
what?
teeth? Have you had
Listen,
braces
no, no,
before?
no. I've never had a braces. I've always wanted them.
You have really nice teeth for someone that had never had braces.
I've always
Are
wanted
you?
them.
That's. I can hear the audio.
Yeah, I've always wanted them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But yeah, I always thought braces looked dope. I thought they were dope
Yeah, I
as
thought
shit.
glasses looked up, so I took an eye test when I was a little kid, and
Mhm.
I was like F G when I could see that it was ABC.
Oh really?
yeah, and I saw
That's fun. That's funny.
All right, so this is for you guys if you want to pass one
Gracias
down,
por todo.
senor.
Gracias.
Yeah.
Salud. This
Wait.
is me when I was in my underworld phase. I gave myself blue eyes, electric blue eyes.
Lols.
That's pretty cool, bro.
Yeah. That's crazy. You can fucking go into the past. What is? Go back.
MySpace.
Get outta
Yeah,
here.
I deleted mine. I didn't want to go into the past.
I did
Really?
not have a
I
MySpace.
always think that the past is interesting because I'm never ashamed of it. I think some things are embarrassing, but that was what you thought was what you wanted to do at that age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, we're gonna cheers to this, Silvia. If you're just done taking selfies
No,
for at
no,
least
no,
right
no.
now.
Wait, one sec.
One more.
Oh.
One more selfie.
So I think this is like a brown.
It is. It's the hazelnut bread.
Y'all can buy my selfies at. No, I'm kidding.
You can pay for her premium Snapchat, which Steven, I believe you're all about right now. Steven will love it.
No, what do we do? What?
No.
Listen.
This is the Rogue Hazelnut Brown Nectar.
Steve, you could find her. What is it? Tumblr, but the more personal.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you remember, I had this whole thing where I hated the way the Tumblr was spelled.
No,
You remember? Okay.
I don't like this.
This? It's a hazelnut brown ale.
It's like a hazelnut
I
Newcastle.
You don't like it all?
can read. I don't like it.
Well, the bottle's over there. All right.
Well,
We're going to split this.
It's cool, man. I don't drink coffee that much, so that's the only time.
Well,
I
this
ever
is
get
this is
hazelnut.
light as fuck. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is not
Yeah.
dark like coffee. The hazelnut brown ale, which if you are a fan, this is really light.
It's
not
really
as
like
sweet,
nutty though. Like you kind of get that nuttiness to it.
A bit nutty.
It's a bit nutty.
It's a bit nutty.
Oh my
It's
god.
a bit heavy.
So there's one time this car went up a telephone pole wire.
Wow.
You see this?
Where?
It literally was doing a donut and then it went up like it lost control and it drove up a telephone pole wire.
Was it one of those ones that like hits the floor and was it like that?
Yeah, and they were so surprised that
Have you ever walked
it balanced
into those, Like when
perfectly.
you're walking home from school and like you're talking with a friend, and you just have your backpack on, and you're just like, ah, and you just get, hey, selfie queen.
She's all about these selfies right now.
Right about now.
We're doing amazing
Yeah.
podcast work, you
Excuse you.
guys.
That's when you know the
Ready?
drinks are kicking in.
I don't know. I noticed before we took a break.
She's just like,
She's
oh,
not-
who dat? Oh, who dat?
Oh, who that is?
Who dat is?
So is it are these all on your Instagram right now? You can put it on.
No.
This is me when I grew a beard.
I literally never post them.
I grew a beard right
I
here.
just took.
It's
Can
nice.
people see this, or
Thank
do
you.
you just see this one?
Is that what I look like?
We're looking at this green.
Can you link them to your old Instagram?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna link my MySpace if you guys want it. All right, we're going forward now, you guys, because this is a podcast. Of course, we have
Can we do
more
this
stuff. We
at
can
all?
hang out.
Yeah, did we do that one yet?
No, we did.
Oh my god.
We played a song.
But
We
did we
did.
show off the whole?
It's,
No,
We're gonna
you
end on a song too.
can't
Don't worry
really-
about
You
it.
can't really see everything, but so if you buy this album,
Yes.
you can hit up Zombie Eating Horse at Facebook or Instagram. We should be able to find a link to it. It's $10. You can buy it online at Spotify or iTunes also. But if you buy this little booklet, you have the art. You know, it opens up both sides. You have the front art, the back art with the song titles. You got the CD, which has the song titles and its own art. Then you pop out that. You got beautiful pictures of the whole band, plus whatever. And then if you didn't think that was enough, there's a whole booklet that pops out. Mind you, this is only $10. Has the artwork, has all the freaking song lyrics. Boom, more sexy pictures of the band.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
Steven wants to know: are there any pictures of Sylvia?
Are there any pictures of Silvia? No.
Steven, you're killing me here.
No, we're kidding. He does say though. Where is it? He says that he would like a show with just Sylvia. But no,
you
he-
gotta pay for those ones.
Yeah, she has our private Snapchat. He likes your tattoo though.
Yeah.
He wants to know
Yeah.
what is your tattoo. You guys have tattoos. I don't.
That's
I like
Sylvia-
tattoos.
That's Sylvia without makeup. Yeah. So you,
Oh, wouldn't you say
You
Sylvia with
think you
makeup?
like her,
where's more of
but-
her, more of this makeup. Let me
yeah.
see.
That's her when she's in the morning, like
Coffer. Coffer. That's a Pokemon, right?
yeah.
And then okay, so you have
really
a what is your
That
what
would
is
be her
yours?
Pokemon. She just say coffee.
You can describe it.
Let's see. This isn't. Oh,
So there's like
This isn't
there's
even
like
my
this little
final
hairy
form.
ball thing.
I
in one
love that
end,
that's-
and then
what-
it stretches down.
can I
this
say how
way.
much I love that you have that tattooed? And then I feels like you don't like it. What's going on?
I love it, but go ahead.
No, well, you kind of like you did a little face palm thing. Why don't?
No, it's okay.
What do you mean? It's
Go
your
ahead.
tattoo.
I love it. So go ahead.
She found it on Tumblr. Lots of girls are getting it.
Oh
And
my
she's
God,
like, "This is
everyone.
cool."
Do you know
I
why?
should do it
Okay,
too."
well, that's actually a great question. Do you know where it's from?
I know that it's from Dragon Ball Z. Yes, dude, I grew up with Dragon Ball Z.
Well, that's what I'm
bro.
saying. You look like
Bro.
what? Own it and just embrace it. I think is a good
I
way,
embraced
right?
it and I own it.
Embrace it.
And like I thought about it for 6 years before I got it. like specific, not just like the phrase.
Why
but,
just
like,
the text though?
But the placement and the text.
Why just the
Why
text though?
wouldn't I just want the text? That's all I need. And like, that's
Because it
all
actually can
I
be-
care about.
It actually can be.
If you Tumblr Dragon
interpret
Ball
it a
Z
different way.
tattoo, there's
like
millions
literally
of the
nobody
same one.
knows.
no, okay, who doesn't know?
Right
that?
now,
I wanna know
right
right now.
they don't know because you haven't said what it is.
Well, no, they should know before this. But if they don't, if you're not a fan of Dragon Ball Z, you have in Dragon Ball Z trying to like just like condense a lot of shit. There's a lot of changing of forms, I guess you could say. A specific character used this phrase though when they were talking about their evolution, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is that it makes sense because as beings, we do not just stop changing. We are always changing forms, and you could sort of construe it that way if you feel like it. If not, it's just a really cool.
I knew what it was
by
right
Frieza.
away when I saw it.
Cool.
So did I. Like what? That's why.
Oh my god, you guys are so cool. Like I want to be just like you when I grow up.
Well, eventually. you
Okay,
can.
well you're the one that got the stupid fucking thing. So
I fucking love it. It's
my favorite tattoo. Wait,
fucking you.
Do you have
Nerd.
another tattoo?
I have
why don't you
one
go
small
get Pokeball
little
Go on your other shoulder?
Do you have Pokemon Go?
You suck my dick.
Pokeball Go. I would, because
All
it
right,
looks like it's a dick.
Well, in June I got a tiny little like hand poked heart. On my
Hand poked
butt.
heart?
On my butt.
Who poked your butt?
A tattoo artist.
Oh, okay.
And I thought it was gonna be cute, and then when I looked at it, because it was so fucking tiny, it looks like a fucking pimple. So now I have to like get it done over. Like
How
black
tiny
ink.
is it?
It's really small.
Like with your fingers? Is
Anyway.
it smaller than this?
Literally, this tattoo says, "This isn't even my final form." Thank you for sticking down for 45 fucking minutes for these guys to
It
fucking
is,
tell
though.
you when they didn't. I had to tell you. This
2
isn't
hours,
even
24 minutes to be exact.
My final form. I thought about it for 6 years. I wanted it for that much time, and I finally fucking got it.
And I
Because
like it.
Because I'm not about tattoos. Since I was 14, I was about piercings because you can put them in, take them out. All they leave is like a tiny scar, like if
Yeah.
that.
You have piercings too. What
I had
what
a shit ton.
what do
man.
you have that's still pierced?
What doesn't she have?
Or no,
Is
what
the
did you
real
get?
question.
Everything.
I'm just kidding.
And I remember in college, she even did the whole side shape of the head right
Oh
here.
yeah, dude! I had that for like 5.5 years, almost 6, almost up until now.
You got
Like-
mad at me because I told you I didn't like it.
Oh, you didn't?
Do you remember?
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, because no, it's
I
like
don't
she showed up.
remember
I was like, I respect everything, but I'm honest, and I just don't like how that looks on
And
anyone.
kept
I
it
haven't
for-
seen anyone.
And I kept it for 5
Yeah.
years, so that
But I
tells
was-
you
I
how
was-
much I care.
No,
How long have you been
Here's the thing.
shaving your mustache?
yeah.
All my life.
I can see it trying to grow
Yeah.
in real hard.
uh, waxing for most of it.
Mhm.
I don't give a fuck. I don't remember saying that, but if
That's
I
why it was
didn't,
a while
You
ago.
know
if
what
I
we
didn't,
didn't
I
talk
kept
about
going it.
yet was like movies, man.
Yeah, no,
I
we're gonna
saw
get into
Venom.
Chicks, man.
Keep talking about Venom because I
I
got
wanted
some.
to keep talking about my
in my
mustache, though.
Talk about your mustache real quick.
I did.
So you said for 6
Not only
years.
yeah, I had it for 6 years. And it was gnarly, and I curled it, and I fucking
Yeah.
loved it. But for the last few,
Like I
I'm
had
like,
this
you know
best
what?
friend in high school, and it
You
wasn't
know
him.
what?
He came back from New York.
I appreciate everyone's choice and their styles.
I
That's fine. But if you ask me, I'm gonna be honest with you, and not mean, by the way. I didn't mean that any way maliciously.
but
I
I'm
literally
sure,
saw. I was like,
but I'm sure you didn't ask for your opinion. But go ahead.
you did.
I
Well-
don't remember ever wanting to ask anyone's opinion about what the fuck I looked like. But okay, I guess I did.
You showed up in the first day. You're like, "What's up, guys? I did this thing," and I was like, "Oh, okay." I mean, like that's not really the thing that I'm into. I didn't really care for that style on anything. Like I haven't seen any picture of any person that I thought that was cool on. But I was like, "Yeah, you
literally
did it,
don't
and that's cool."
I literally don't remember showing up and being like, I did this thing. You guys.
What did you do?
Well, you also don't remember
I
me
shaved
saying
my
this,
head.
but you got really mad.
Oh.
You got mad at me, and I felt
No.
bad because I was like,
Well,
"Well, I'm not
here's
trying to
the
be a
thing-
dick.
here's the
It's
thing,
being
though.
honest.
Wait,
Would you
wait,
rather?
wait,
Would you rather have an honest
wait,
opinion?
Wait. But there's been so many times. This is really what's interesting about memory interpretation. There's
Yes.
been so many times when I've literally I've spoken to people and they've told me that they believe completely different things of what actually happened. So that's
Same.
what's
No,
interesting.
I agree.
I did it too.
He's like, I was there.
I'm also guilty.
I was
of
also
the
there.
side head shave.
turtles.
I like
Yeah.
turtles.
Maybe
Is
that's why I
Chantal
didn't.
still here? No, right.
Hey, Chantal, you here?
No, she went back to work.
I understand. I should be there too.
It was Chantal, me, and Leslie, and you showed up.
Who's Leslie?
Leslie was in our creative writing club. Remember her? I don't remember her last name.
Cool.
Yeah, but either way,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I have a vivid memory of it, and the only reason I would do that is because something happened, not because you just showed up.
Okay. I literally do not remember.
That's
but
fine.
I mean,
No, I remember we talked about this earlier, where I don't, where my friends would tell me, "Hey, remember that time you were there and then we did the thing and blah blah blah." I was like, "Nope, I don't remember being there at all."
That's actually troubling though, because that's more like incidents. That's not just like conversation. That's more like incidents.
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
It's not bad,
True,
right?
fair enough. I really liked
It's
it. Well,
okay.
I've
But I
Everyone has
tried
different
it,
things.
and I kept like instead.
It's just like
doing
a
this.
hazelnutty like Newcastle.
Yeah.
Like I
real
well,
want-
we poured
super
yours
light.
out.
Like when you have,
You
like,
have
Halloween juice.
this is
and
Monster.
That it's like. Ugh.
Do you want? I would pour the Monster in
Halloween
there.
juice? Is that what the first? What?
What?
Nothing.
I thought you were mouthing something. The first
She would like that, sir.
cocktail.
Probably the other thing.
Yeah. First
Which
cocktail.
I mean, I don't know why you're hiding it. I mean, it's legal.
I know.
You do you.
It's legal. Smoke that crack.
Yeah,
Pull it.
cracks legal.
Don't be shy. Wait,
She's
we're
just-
we're in Canada, right?
Yeah. No, dude, it's completely legal. I don't know where you're. Do your thing. You do whatever you want to do. She's over there not doing anything illegal.
She's
What's
over there doing the Scooby Doo. Wait, no.
Go ahead.
Roo. That's more like it.
Yeah, perfect. I had a
Y'all
wolf
need
on.
to- Y'all need to eat something.
No, seriously. That's why I've been trying to end it. For a
Okay,
while.
let's end this thing.
We're gonna end it.
We're
How
gonna
does that-
end
wait.
it on.
I just saw
Look for
something
the
that said
wolf.
Zombie. Oh,
Zombie
okay.
brain eater. It's not zombie eating horse. That's
saw-
for sure.
I
I'm
saw
looking,
eating something.
No, I was looking for these ones.
All right, wait. So next Saturday,
Oh yeah, that cool thing.
if you look, Santa Fe Springs VFW Hall. My other band, Antagonist, is having their 20th year as a band anniversary.
Wow. And so you joined them later on, right?
I joined about 8 years ago, but 10 years ago they released an album called Exist, and so that album has a lot of songs that have never been played live, and I wasn't even in the band when they released it, but
Mhm.
we're gonna play the whole thing all the way through. So for the first time since it's like creation, it's gonna be played all the way through 10 years later to them recording it, and that's this Saturday, Santa Fe Springs, VFW Hall, Whittier, California. Santa Fe Springs, California.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, we have our other friends band that we used to play with back in the day. When I first joined Antagonist, they were called Envolent, and now they're called Funeral Pyre,
Mhm.
and they haven't played a show in like 4 years. They toured and everything. They're coming
Oh
back.
shit, I've heard of them.
They're coming back for this show. No, and it's like this dope ass black metal band from like La Habra, Whittier, California.
Hold on, I need to address this. Speaking of Dragon Ball Z, I think I can get you one. What does that even mean, Steven? You gonna get me a Dragon Ball?
He's gonna
Is
get
that is that one of
he's
those
gonna get
Dragon?
you a pretty girl.
Have you guys seen the Dragon Balls made of THC wax?
Shut the fuck up.
I'll
would
show you
like
this after
to.
this. If you can get us that for sure, let me know, Steve.
Are you serious? That's
Keep going.
fucking amazing.
All right. Couple of runs of bands rolling with. Okay, now keep going.
Yeah, so this, we just also revealed that the secret band on the show is my other band, which we had our CD release.
Aerosmith.
My other band, Aerosmith. Yeah, now my other band, Zombie Eating Horse, we just had our CD release, so we couldn't like say we were playing this other show, just so like people wouldn't want to go to the next show and not the CD release. So we're the special guest band. Sorry to disappoint.
Why is that disappointing? You should be
Yeah.
fucking like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Because
dude.
everyone was like, "Oh shit, is it this band?" Like all these big bands, and we're like, "Nope." That's my toilet flushing.
Uh-huh. Keep
But
going.
but yeah, so we have that coming up next Saturday, and it's awesome. Drinks are cheap. Party, come hang out. I think they're doing it 18 and over for the most part. I think it is. There's a bar also, and it's like full bar, cheap drinks.
Boom.
We're gonna party.
Boom.
Yeah.
Check that shit out.
And I'll probably take a break after that.
Sweet, dude.
Yeah.
Go check him out right now. Silvia, can they check out your stuff on Instagrams and all the things that you want to do?
No, go away.
Nope, go away at the Silvia Lara. You can follow me at Garrett_AMLee on Twitter and Instagram, Humpcast everywhere else. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Because we are gonna finish this off because this is like the longest show we've ever done in my life.
Yeah, just kidding. Follow me at the Silvia Lara
Yes.
on Instagram. That's with an I, not a Y. Okay, bye.
I think you've definitely made some fans, and we're gonna finish off on zombie eating horse Z-Rex. Is that right?
Yeah. Z-Rex. It's zombie T-Rex, man.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's cool. Let's do it. Thank
Each
you.
album is going to have a Z something.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right,
I swear it.
let's do it.